diplomacy is the only solution to the war in Ukraine and getting Ukraine and Russia to a table where that's possible. Ukraine's president also arriving in Saudi Arabia, where he meets with the Crown Prince today. The Secretary of State says a purge is complete at the main U.S. international aid agency.
Secretary Rubio says after a 6-week review, 83% of USAID programs are being canceled, and the rest will now be managed by the State Department instead. Rubio is thanking Elon Musk's Doge cost-cutting team for its work on this and says the programs being cut do not serve or in some cases have harmed the national interest of the United States. President Trump, after taking office, announced the suspension of foreign aid spending. The Supreme Court has refused to stop a judge's order. The Trump administration has to resume $2 billion in payments owed under existing contracts.
Fox's Chris Foster. Democratic lawmakers and others have argued that congressional approval is needed to shut down programs funded by Congress. The U.S. transportation chief just rescinding 2 Biden administration memos that encouraged states to address how climate change and equity impact infrastructure projects. Secretary Sean Duffy says the memos are in conflict with the intent of a $1 trillion infrastructure law passed by Congress. A fiery ship collision under investigation off the coast of England where a U.S.-flagged tanker carrying jet fuel was hit by a Portuguese-flagged cargo ship. 2 maritime security sources telling Reuters there's no indication of malicious activity. Crew members from both ships all safe and accounted for, 1 hospitalized. America is listening to Fox News.
Point!
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace!
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it!
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What a wonderful Monday afternoon of weather. Lots of sunshine. What a temperature pop. 73 for the high. That's way above average, but it's well short of a record. The record's 86. Tonight, clear skies, 51. Tuesday, sunny and 71. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny, 72 each day. Some thunderstorms late in the week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and I have an amazing offer here for the middle of March. This is for this week only. We're going to do a special sale. They okayed it, so I'm going to share it with you. 3 rooms starting at just $109. $109 just this week when you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk. You still get $75 off your air duct cleaning package. These are professional cleaners. They do great work. I've had them in my home over the last 12 or 13 years. Multiple times. The crews are amazing, very skilled, and they offer awesome customer service, which is why you get the legendary 30-day gotta love it guarantee. But again, this is for this week only. When you mention my name or 97.1 FM Talk, 3 rooms starting at $109. Get your home cleaned the right way with the cleaning heroes at Zero Res. So it's really easy to book, but you got to mention the radio station or my name to get the awesome special here for this week only in the month of March. 3 rooms at $109 and $75 off the air duct cleaning package. Book today at ZeroResSTL.com.
Farming's hard. To feed the world, farmers have to work the land, brave the elements, and fight the battle against weeds. Weeds reduce crop yields, so prices go up and everybody gets less to eat. But 50 years ago, farmers got a new tool to fight weeds, glyphosate. It kills weeds while protecting the harvest. Time and again, it has been approved by the EPA and by leading regulatory bodies around the world. It helps enable practices that reduce erosion and keep soil healthy, which is good for the earth. Farming's hard, but it's a little easier with glyphosate. Learn more at go.bayer.com/glyphosate. Paid for by Bayer.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural hair products from New Nordic. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or CVS. That's newnordicusa.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Happy Monday. Gosh, it's a beautiful Monday outside. I bet a lot of you right now just getting onto your lunch break here in St. Louis, and you are going out to get some food, maybe run an errand, and you've got the windows down. Gotta love these days. Now, we've got a lot going on the show today, and we're very happy to be able to bring you at 1:25 Ryan Schmelz, because I have to say, I know that not everybody who tunes into the Annie Fry Show is going to immediately know Ryan Schmelz's name, but as soon as you hear him, you remember him. Because he is the Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent, so he's there in the Capitol, he's covering it. You know, Chad Pergram is like the chief TV dude. Being able to talk to Ryan Schmelz is like having a Chad Pergram at our fingertips all the time, and Ryan completely knows his stuff. And our YouTube live chat poll for today, which I encourage you to go to youtube.com/@AnnieFry, F-R-E-Y, and vote, because I think this might be an interesting break. I don't know how this is going to break down with our audience. Should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution to fund the government through September? Trump wants the Republicans this week. I think the vote would be tomorrow, is my understanding.
All I know is it's this week.
I think it's somebody tomorrow, but this is why we have Ryan on the show at 1:25, and he's going to tell us what's going on. But basically, all we've been hearing from Republicans about funding the government is that, of course, the end goal here is to get a balanced budget. You can't just snap your fingers and make that happen. There's going to be some growing pains, of course. But what we do know is that continuing resolutions are bad. I thought that was kind of a complete and total understanding by the Republican Party. But now we hear President Trump saying, trust us on this. We need a little bit more time to make sure that we get the perfect bill, and we need to fund this government, because if we don't fund the government, bad things happen. Of course, Susan Collins, senator from Maine, is, I think, the head of the Appropriations Committee in the Senate, and is saying, and Susan Collins, mind you, she's the purplish Republican senator. She's saying we can't shut down the government. So you've got people who are advocating for don't close the government down. I think that Republicans are, generally speaking, broadly, I'm talking about voters here, I'm talking about the entire Republican electorate, very in favor of shutting down the government when the Democrats are in charge. And I don't know how in favor they would be of shutting down the government on principle of no continuing resolutions. That's what a CR is. This is a point where everybody starts talking about CR this, CR that. And people who don't follow government forever and ever, like, what's a CR? So we're going to ask Ryan Schmelz that later. But it's a continuing resolution. It takes the funding as it is, says, how about just a little bit longer on that before we can actually get our act together? The problem is isn't it like 2020?
Oh, yeah, it's been a long time.
I mean, it's 5 years.
Yes.
Of we haven't reassessed the situation and looked at what we can actually do and what we can't actually do and made a decision based on those current times. It's just constantly punting.
Yeah, it's not a new budget. They just keep saying, how about we just keep doing that one again and that one again for a long time now.
So we're going to talk to Ryan Schmelz about what that vote likely will be, because very slim majority in the House of Republicans. So the Republicans have to essentially be in lockstep. It's basically Republicans and Thomas Massie. That's how you have to look at it, because Massie's not going to vote for these things. He never has. He never will. But Trump is asking for it. And that is a huge factor in this. For a lot of people, if Trump asks for it, people are willing to say, I trust him, do what he says. And that's what the poll is today. Should the Republicans do what Trump wants them to do and get this CR done? You have any strong thoughts on this yet?
Oh, yeah, I do. I got some real strong thoughts. And actually, they go both ways, because on one hand, the only person and president I would trust to say, hey, there's a bigger plan here, and that there actually is a bigger plan, would be Donald Trump. Because I'm so sick of politicians saying that, and then nothing ever gets done. But he's doing so much that I'm like, well, maybe you are. He's the one saying, we got to balance the budget. We got to cut government. And he's doing it. So in that sense, I do trust him. However, I don't like the CR based mainly on what Thomas Massie has said, which is, why would we, all these Doge cuts that have been done already, there's more to come, but all the ones that we've already done, why would we continue to fund those same things with this CR?
Why would you say, oh, how about just a little bit longer?
Yes.
Why would you do that? And the only answer to that is because we don't have a choice not to. And I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying, what's the alternative? You cannot live in a fantasy world where you want, of course, I want the budgets to be balanced. I want us to take less dollars from the American taxpayer. I want us to not fund things that aren't rooted in the Constitution and based on the fundamental God-given rights of every American citizen. But we can't just snap our fingers and make that happen. So we need you to weigh in on this and let us know what you think. Should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution to fund the government through September? September is when they would actually have to put up, and we could get there and be like, we just need a little bit longer, and then we do another CR. And if Trump does that, if Trump can't get this done by September, then you're in midterm election. And I would actually argue that September is already midterm election. So I don't know what you're going to think about this. Steve Moore is going to be with us, I believe, at 105 every once in a while. I mean, we book him every Monday at 105. He gives us that time. We're so grateful to have Steve Moore, who is an economic advisor to Donald Trump, has advised his administration and his campaign. I'm going to ask him about this because the number one thing that he wants to have done is to make permanent those tax cuts. He wants that to happen. Does a CR freak him out? I don't know. Being able to ask Ryan Schmelz at 125 what Congress is likely to do, and right before that, ask Steve Moore, hopefully, unless he gets snatched up by Fox TV in the meantime, as to what he thinks is best for the country. That is a great 1-2 punch in the 1 o'clock hour here on 97.1. We're going to have Kaelan Dorr on with us next, too, as well. And have you seen the Take It Down Act? Have you heard about this?
I don't think so.
Weird segue here, but revenge posting of pictures is another P word I'm not going to say just because, kids and stuff.
Yes.
But the ability for people to take photographs of themselves and send them, of young people to do that and send them out, and then also you add in the skills of artificial intelligence. There is just, what a terrible time to have to grow up around children who have access to technology that they don't understand the full capacity of what technology can do to harm people. And Melania Trump is taking under her wing the effort to make sure that this type of stuff is minimized. And I for the record, put it on the board. I have applied to go to the White House, and
good for you.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you.
I did that because you all said I had to. I have applied, and we'll notify you if anything comes of that. I understand it's a long shot, but
to be in the press room.
I don't know, wherever they tell me to go. I'll stand in the closet if I need to.
Be in the Rose Garden.
Yeah.
Just kind of rolling around.
I don't know if I'll do that.
No?
No, that's the Wiggins version of what would happen. They're so pretty.
That's what I would do.
As long as I can go in spring.
You got to stop and smell and roll in the roses.
Yeah.
That's what I always say. But hey, if you get the press room, that's just as good.
Yeah, I'll go. Like I said, I'll go where they take me. I am thinking about if I were, like I said, it's a long shot chance that I end up in this position, but there's a chance. So why not take it? And if I'm going to take it, I'm going to make the absolute most of it. And I've thought a lot about what I would ask. And I think that if I get this opportunity, I need to make sure that I ask something that, the way I look at it, I offer a certain perspective here for you listening. There are a lot of talk options for you available here in the St. Louis market if you're popping around on your radio. There are a million other ways to listen to talk when it comes to podcasting and streaming and satellite radio and all of that. I understand that you have a choice, and when you choose to spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your time with us, I am incredibly grateful. There's something that we have to offer in this show that brings you in for whatever amount of time you spend with us. And what I think the biggest mistake I could make if I got that opportunity would be to go in there and try to be like Peter Doocy or Aish Nahazni or whoever goes in there. Like, those questions that they're asking, they're being asked. It's no different if I do it, except for nobody knows who I am. So what do we offer here that would be valuable to you as a listener? What can I go in there and talk about? And I'm paying a lot of close attention to that. I think that there are regional things that I can pay attention to. For instance, my roots in Illinois, which is my home state. Got to spend the weekend in Chicago. I'm going to tell you what. We'll talk more about this later in the 2 o'clock hour probably. But we went downtown Chicago this weekend. I haven't been downtown Chicago in probably 18 years.
Like Michigan Avenue downtown?
Yes.
Okay.
Driving it. Like, I don't know that I've ever been in a car that we owned and operated driving down there. It's always been like ride shares and stuff like that. No, I went one time. I went in 2016 once. And that was a work summit thing. And
there goes this whole story.
No.
Oh.
No, because I remember I went in 2016. It was a late November digital summit when I was the digital brand manager for 97.1. It was late November of 2016.
Ooh.
And we're downtown, and I was with a couple of my coworkers who also work digital, and we were Trump fans. And we were like walking past the Trump Tower, and we were like sneaking selfies because I don't know that we were in friendly territory, but it was still. I remember that very well because the world was still shocked, like absolutely. This isn't possible. Somebody fix it. How did Donald Trump just win this election? And there was also, it was like jaw-dropping that Donald Trump won in 2016, but it was probably more jaw-dropping that Hillary Clinton lost. How could she lose? She was born for this. Just ask her. And so we were just like, you just kind of, this has been the same way for the last few months, but just kind of walk around with a smile on your face. And if you see other people smiling, you're like, and then you just keep going.
Especially in Chicago.
Yes. We were in front of the Trump Tower, and it was just like, this is a whole different world. So I was in Chicago this weekend, and like I said, we'll talk more about this later. But I know everybody wants to separate from Chicago. We got to win that. We got to win that city back. They're not going to be red. It's not going to ever be MAGA country. Again.
For that one moment in time.
Yeah, this is that one night.
That one moment in time.
That sounds like a movie. One moment in MAGA country, Chicago, Illinois. It's not
starring Jussie Smollett.
It's not ever going to be that, but the economic powerhouse that it should be for the. I'm not even exaggerating. Not the state, not the country, but for the world. Right here in the middle of the United States of America, very strategically placed. Just an absolutely stunning city. Maybe common sense could win the day. Annie, you're drunk. Go home. No. We just need the right leaders. And to look at what Donald Trump is doing at the national federal level right now and the things that he's willing to do and say that Americans of all kinds have said, we'll try it. If Donald Trump succeeds doing what he's doing right now and you're in Chicago and you've got two brain cells to rub together, why wouldn't you say, can we do a version of that here? We could talk more about that later in the show, but that's one path of thinking that I'm mulling about should I have the opportunity to talk about it. But the other thing that I really am concerned about, and I hear this when I talk to you, when I meet you at events or if we run into each other, it always comes up that you like that as a show we talk about our faith. You love that we talk about our families. And I've had so many parents come up and say that they've appreciated so much how we've talked about in our family holding our kids back with cell phones and social media access, which is I'm not doing it right. I might be doing it a little bit differently than the mainstream, but we're all trying to do our best. And this Take It Down Act that we're going to talk with Kaelan Dorr next. He's the Deputy Assistant to the President, White House Deputy Communications Director. We're going to talk about the Take It Down Act. Melania Trump is championing this. And the bill that they're trying to get through would make it a federal crime to post intimate imagery online, whether real or fake, And I think that this is something that absolutely needs to be done. I talk to my kids all the time about these absolutely tragic stories that take place where kids share something and then they get bullied with it after the fact. You know, the mistakes that we made as kids these mistakes were never big enough to be where, like, children today, if you take a photo and you send it, like, you just can't claw that back. It's almost like we couldn't have made a mistake that big. And you can do this flippantly with one snap of a photo on your phone, and that's that. And it's out there, and you won't get it back. Our kids don't. Our technology is giving our kids opportunities that they are not mature enough to handle, and I don't feel like enough people are talking about it. It's one of the main things that I think about if I were able to go to the White House, what I would ask them about and push and encourage them to do, which is protect our kids, because childhood is so fleeting. The innocence that you have as a kid, once it's gone, it's gone. And I think we need to do more. We need to be better at it, and we need to have people talking about this that are actually in the mix with this technology, not people who have staff to handle those types of things. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, Kaelan Dorr is going to be with us. Like I said, the Deputy Assistant to the President is going to talk to us about the Take It Down Act. Melania Trump is really working hard to make sure that this is something that is paid attention to. With one of Donald Trump's guests, Melania Trump's guests at the joint address last week, it was about this. Kaelan Dorr on the Annie Fry Show, next.
This is the Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Stewart's American Mortgage is the bagel loan guy, and you are in the best of hands with Stewie. He has refied twice for me. Once in, I'm thinking it was like 2017 or 2018, and then once again in 2020. Remember when rates were going down? Well, I did it twice with him because I got a bagel loan both times, and the bagel loan made it so that I didn't have to pay any closing costs. So I was able to lock in a much, much lower rate and not have to pay anything to do it. So if you're looking to get a bagel loan for a refinance right now because you need to take some money out and maybe pay down some other debt, consolidate debt, invest in something, repair something in your home, all of that, you want to make sure that you talk to Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. Reach out to him at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440, and tell him Annie sent you. If you're looking to purchase a home, you can access the bagel loan as well. Get that new mortgage and pay $0 in closing costs. It's real. It's not a gimmick. It's at Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
And a lot of people, when they come in, they'll say, I'm usually much more active, but since I've been in pain, I've had to limit the activities I'm doing.
You're listening to Janelle, an arch support specialist at the Good Feet store.
So he came in and he wanted to be able to keep up, play sports with his kids. And from there, we figure out which arch supports complement those activities. I fit him with the arch supports, and as I followed up with him, he's messaged me and said, I took my kids to the park today. We're walking, we're exercising, riding the bikes, and those are all things that he wasn't doing before because he was in pain.
For over 25 years, the Good Feet store's arch support specialists have been helping folks to live the life they love without foot, knee, hip, or back pain getting in the way.
Our goal is to have that long-term change for them. That's what's most important, is knowing that you leave an impact on someone's life. And I like that.
Try them for yourself. Stop in for a free personalized fitting and test walk at the Good Feet store.
Visit one of our 2 locations, Creve Coeur and Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeet.com.
Well, if you're like me and you enjoy wine, especially quality wine, you have to try the delicious wines from Stonehill Winery. This winery, if you've never been there, it's in Hermann, Missouri, so it's local, been around since 1847. Listen to this. Stonehill's Cross J. Norton wine beat out 235 other wines in a Missouri wine competition this year and ended up winning the Governor's Cup. Stonehill is Missouri's oldest and now most awarded winery. Winery. The winery itself, this is really cool. It has the largest series of underground vaulted cellars in North America. So what's cool is if you get a chance to go to Herman, you can stop into Stonehill Winery and take a tour. Really cool. They do all kinds of events there, weddings. Think about how cool that would be. I got to try some of Stonehill's Ozark Hellbender the other night. It's a dry red wine, and it's fantastic. Actually, listen to the description of this wine, okay? Aromas of sweet cherry, blueberry pie smeared with a plum compote and drizzled with cinnamon sticks and toasted oak goodness. You can find Stonehill wines at virtually any retail store here in Missouri, brought to you by our friends at Lore Wine and Spirits.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com. Let's support Heroes Care through comedy. Annie Fry here. Join Heroes Care at the Westport Funny Bone Sunday, March 23rd for stand-up from St. Louis's own Will O'Donnell. That's Sunday, March 23rd. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
I'm here with you today with a common goal: to protect our youth from online harm. The widespread presence of abusive behavior in the digital domain affects the daily lives of our children, families, and communities. Addressing this issue is essential for fostering a safe and supportive environment for our young people. I hope today's roundtable builds awareness of the harm caused by non-consensual intimate imagery, and eventually the approval of the Take It Down Act here in Congress.
Our First Lady, Melania Trump, talking and advocating for the Take It Down Act. And I want to give our next guest the opportunity to talk about the importance of this. Why is this a priority of the First Lady and the Trump administration? Of course, as I've talked to you many times about my 4 children, I have a 15-year-old son and a 12-year-old daughter. All of this social media stuff is front and center for me. I am leaning in heavily to find out what we are doing to protect our children. And I'm so grateful to see that this administration is making it a priority. Kaelan Dorr joins us now, Deputy Assistant to the President, White House Deputy Communications Director. Thank you so much, Kaelan, for being with us today. It's an honor to have you.
Well, thanks for having me here, Annie. I appreciate you. I was just telling the producers offline, nature is healing. I had to leave the confines of the White House today because I saw that online they were actually tearing down BLM Plaza just a few blocks away from the White House. So I had to go see it myself. I had to do a little pilgrimage. So if it's a little noisy, it's because I walked a block away. But much like how we're seeing things like the Take It Down Act, take hold here in Washington, D.C., looks like everyone's rowing in the same direction, and we're actually making some real change. It's always good to hear.
I appreciate you saying that. I went and visited Washington, D.C. last year with my son for the first time in his 8th grade class trip, and I didn't realize that mural was still up. So it's great to hear that they're focusing on better things, bigger and better things now. And we'll throw in this Take It Down Act as one of those things. There's a lot of common sense behind what the administration is trying to do here. I think that we have, as a government, been behind the times on what digital life is happening, the types of things that can happen, especially when they infiltrate the lives of our children.
100%. And I just had a baby girl. I didn't have it. Sorry. My wife just had a baby girl, 10 or so weeks ago. Thank you. But, you take a look at things like this and you're really grateful for the common sense solutions to these really complex problems, right? And, it's a little complex in that the technology is definitely leaps and bounds ahead of anything we see here in D.C. If I had to tell you what I have to do to be able to send an email or to cut a video here at the White House, you would be astonished. So, for us to really take charge on this, and, as you saw, the president brought it up in the joint address to Congress and he called for people to pass it. I'm really proud of us as a movement for really taking the bull by the horns and looking forward a little bit. We haven't always been good about it as a party or as a governing body. And so, yeah, I got skin in the game now with a baby girl, but I really do appreciate us looking forward to this kind of stuff. And I think it's especially important. We have leaders like David Sachs and Elon Musk, here working as special government employees at the White House because they're also providing an outsider's perspective. That's always been what the president is good at, right? He's always been pragmatic, and he's always viewed things as a regular person, right? The regular person doesn't view things through the archaic lens that Washington, D.C. typically does. And so I think we're going to be able to get ahead of the curve and really do some powerful work.
We're speaking with White House Deputy Communications Director Kaelan Dorr. I want to dive into that a little bit more because I've seen these, social media or technology or digital element conversations come up in government and especially in our federal government over the last decade. And many times the people who we see discussing them have no clue what they're talking about. They've been briefed, but they don't have any real life experience. They have staff that helps them do those things. How active are knowledgeable, experienced, thought leaders on this issue of, revenge porn that gets put up, AI-generated images that are very offensive that gets put up? Who else is involved in this to make sure that it is current and forward-thinking?
Well, I think you're looking at Congress is really put the word forward on this, and it's a result of kind of this younger, more MAGA-oriented Republican Party. I mean, I could tell you the party that I grew up, learning about, the party that I grew up being a part of, they'd be, like we said, like behind the curve on this in a way that is criminal because it valued quote-unquote experience, right, traditional experience over, pragmatic solutions. And so I think this is a result of our movement getting younger and getting smarter and getting more involved. Credit goes to the technology companies recognizing that this is a thing that needs to be addressed. I'm sure they're involved, and I think this is a very common sense solution to what shouldn't be, but is a complex technological problem. I've worked at social media companies in the past, and I can tell you, moderating and things like that is always very difficult. I was in a meeting once for a prior employer where we had to sit down and determine how much of the Hunter Biden laptop we would show, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink.
Yes.
And so, this is there are real humans attached to all of these issues. And I think, it's important that we're out there leading on this.
Yeah, and especially when those humans are children that are being affected. Kaelan Dorr, we appreciate your time today. We know you are limited on your time with us. We hope you'll come back with us and keep us updated on what's going on with the Take It Down Act and more. We're really grateful for the opportunity to speak with you.
Will do. Will do. Thank you, Annie. Y'all take care. Have a great week, all right?
Yep, you as well. Bye-bye. Outside of Lafayette Square right there in downtown Washington, D.C., I don't know which side it is. That was one thing when I was in Washington, D.C., I never really had a sense of direction because the streets don't go like east and west and north and south. They go all the ways, and that's because of the Freemasons.
Oh, is it really?
Well,
see,
I built it.
I could not figure out Washington, D.C. either, but I wasn't driving. I was just in a ride share. But we'd go down streets, and I'd completely disorient me because I didn't know where we were going.
Have you ever looked at there's the Mason sign in there. I'm not talking crazy. This isn't conspiracy.
No, it's actually
it just actually
like
is.
That.
I mean,
No,
they were Freemasons. They built everything.
Yeah, they were all the presidents were part of the Freemasons.
Yep, there's Steve Moore. He's on TV. We'll see if he's free.
No, good. He's on now.
He's like, guys, I have to do the Annie Fry Show at 1:05.
Yeah.
And I can't be late. You just tell Trace Gallagher he'll have to get it done in the noon hour. And he gets real mad. No, I'm joking. We'll see if he's going to be with us. Who knows? I'd be like navigating and following. I didn't play it. It was so nice because I'm a type A organizer. I have had to very, very, very thoughtfully and intentionally, as a mom, push away the thought of having to take everything over and do it myself because I can think all I'm ever doing is analyzing how I would do such thing. That's all I ever do. And I don't want to do all of that, but you're just thinking like, if you see something run really well, you're like, they are doing a bang up job. And I feel if I think that, I always try to go tell those people that if they're accessible,
and you're impressed.
Yes, like you guys are doing a wonderful job. This was a joy to be a part of, or something like that.
Yeah, especially when it's unexpected.
The Night of Rock Stars, just to throw this out there, which is the event that I have emceed for the last 2 or 3 years. 3 years, I think. 3 years. It's a run by the Remax Alliance group, and we're partners with Tammy Dittamore here on the Annie Fry show, and she is a huge part of that as well. And they acknowledge families of special needs kiddos, and it's just an amazing event, and it's run flawlessly. Heather Sterling, she does a wonderful job of making the trains run on, like they run on time. They run on Heather's time, and it's on time. You go to something like that, and then you go to something else. You ever been to a trivia night that was just like, whoa?
Mm-hmm. And then I've been to some that were amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like ours?
Well, yours was so buttoned up.
Thank you.
That it was like, whoa, she's moving fast. Because you were the MC.
Yeah. And
you had it all figured out.
My husband and I did the questions. We did the organization. We did the emceeing. Because if you go to something like that, and if you ever go, oh, you look at your watch to see, is this almost over? Then it's not good. You should. When I MC a ton of events, and when I MC an event, my thought is always, when I walk in, if they haven't given me a lot of information before I get there, I'm always like, when do you want people out of here? Because I feel like my job as an MC, if you had 4 people who were going to speak and you thought they were all going to speak for 5 minutes and they all only speak for 2 minutes, I might have 5 or 6, 7 minutes to fill. And I can do that. If they all go super long, and most of the events that I do have politicians there, and they're not like, oh, I can take 5 to 10. I'll get it done in 4. Yeah. Nope. So I'm usually trying to be like, all right, let's go. Keep it moving, because that's what makes people not regret going to the fundraiser where they are giving you your money. So you got to stay focused on things. But I'm always analyzing everything, and I don't want to be the person who walks into an event or into everything in life and feels like you have to take it over, because I don't have to. It's a very active, intentional thing for me to have to be like, Annie, you are going to go be the best worker bee that you can possibly be. And I've had to work on that, and then you learn to bite your tongue. And then eventually you get halfway through it and you're like, I'm so glad I'm not in charge of this.
Side point on trivia nights.
No, yeah, let's talk about them.
The worst thing that can happen at a trivia night is not just that it takes long. That's the second worst. The worst is when there are questions, not just one, because every now and then one will sneak through, but multiple questions that the answer is not clear. Like there's something about,
ambiguous, yes,
where you could argue with the judge, because then you got to be the jerk who walks up and goes, well, the way this is asked, it technically, I remember one recently within the last couple of years that was about St. Louis baseball. And the answer they were looking for about 40s or 50s baseball was the St. Louis Browns. But the way it was worded, it could have referred also to the Cardinals, who were a team at that time. And that kind of stuff drives me nuts in trivia.
I recently emceed a trivia night, and it was a lot of fun. And
that's right.
But the one question that popped into my mind when you said that was about a spoof movie and the movie that it spoofed. And it didn't name either one. And it's like, what is the name of that movie? And I'm like, when I was reading that, I was like, they need to know if they want the spoof movie or if they want the movie that the spoof movie spoofed.
Stuff sneaks through.
Yeah, it absolutely does.
It's hard to come up with
that. But I mean, there was,
but
I don't know, lots of questions, and that was really the only one I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I don't think you had any questions like that.
No.
Which I appreciated, because you probably thought it through for weeks ahead of time.
I will, when my husband and I write our questions, because we do trivia nights every once in a while, we'll probably be putting together another one in the next, probably in 2025. And we write our questions, and then we send them to, we have a few people in our life that could go to said trivia night. Kind of depends on what it's for. If it's for their organization, obviously we don't send it to them. But if they're not really involved, we send it to them. We're like, criticize the heck out of these. And if they send a criticism for one and it's even 50% valid, we just rewrite the question or trash it.
I just want clarification. There's never been any Donna Brazil moments here where you're giving the questions to somebody.
You just want to make sure that you give the questions to the people who are going to donate the money back.
I see. I see how it goes.
You guys had Will Scharf at your table.
That was amazing.
Yeah, and there was a Constitution section.
Yep.
We dominated.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, Wiggins America, the Monday Roundup, the stories you missed and probably didn't need to know, but you do want to know. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever you say.
Okay. All right. Well, Ryan Wiggins will take over in the next segment. And a reminder, we have Steve Moore and Ryan Schmelz in the 1 o'clock hour. They're going to be talking to us about the act of Congress that will need to take place when it comes to funding the government. They've got to act before Friday. There should be a vote tomorrow, I believe. Ryan Schmelz will give us the details on that. And Steve Moore will give us the wisdom behind doing that or not doing that in the 1 p.m. hour. Ryan Wiggins, next.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
AirComfortService.com. It is 65 and sunny outside. Wonderful. How's your HVAC system working? What about your air conditioner? Was it in good working order last summer? Did you have no problems with it? Or are you thinking, gosh, this might be the time? Let me tell you why, if that's even remotely in your brain that there might be some air conditioning concerns you have, you need to reach out to Air Comfort Service. At least jot this number down, punch it into your phone for a time when it's convenient to call Air Comfort Service, because I have a huge money-saving opportunity for you at Air Comfort Service. The number is 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. Here's where the savings come in. The new federal government regulation for the type of refrigerant used in HVAC equipment is causing costs to go up by 20%. Air Comfort Service stocked up on the 2024 HVAC equipment, and they're offering it at 2024 pricing and passing those savings on to you. Air Comfort Service is there looking out for you, advocating for you. Give them a call, 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
Hey guys, it's Mark Reardon. If you're struggling with low energy, performance issues, or weight gain, Game Day Men's Health has got you covered with testosterone therapy, ED treatments, and more in all of a relaxed man cave environment. At Game Day, you'll get a free testosterone test and consultation, all in just 1 hour. Game Day is the premier men's health clinic with locations in Chesterfield, O'Fallon, Missouri, and Glen Carbon, Illinois. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. That's GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Get back in the game with Game Day Men's Health.
Well, homeowners, it seems as if everybody who wanted to sell their home last year is finally starting to take action now. If you're ready to sell, I strongly recommend you call my friend and St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Mark Cox here. Why should Gloria be your first call? Well, let's ask the O'Neill family. Gloria sold their home for $30,000 over list price. Or the Krupp family. Gloria sold their home over one weekend for $25,000 over asking price. Or maybe the Cox family, who received multiple offers and sold for $20,000 over the list price, which, by the way, was the highest sales price for the subdivision ever. You get my point. Not every home sells over list price, but one thing is for sure, Gloria Liu is going to get you the most money possible for your home, and she'll guarantee your agreed-upon price. Call her today at 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Today's YouTube live chat poll is kind of long. It's, should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution to fund the government through September? Yes or no. Those are your two options. Let us know what you think about the budget and what's being dealt with this week. That is today's YouTube live chat poll question. You find it by typing in Annie Fry on YouTube. And then, of course, you can watch the show instead of just listening to it there as well. 12:43. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk is proudly supporting the Guns N' Hoses Queen of Hearts raffle, benefiting the St. Louis Backstoppers. Learn more at stlgunsandhoses.com and listen to the Mark Cox Morning Show Fridays at 8:20 for winner announcements. This is The Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run. Can't stop the run.
Wiggins! Oh! Monday Roundup! Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness!
Ooh, look at the Dow.
Ooh, Dow and NASDAQ, both of them.
Down.
Dropping hard.
775.
Yeah, it was all over the place last week, and we're starting down this week.
780.
Almost 1.8% down. Let's talk about some business news then.
Okay.
Let's start there. You were not really on Twitter much this weekend, were you?
Here's the deal. I was at a basketball tournament all weekend, had 2 teams to watch. My daughter's team made it to the state tournament and competed very well. And my nephew's team, the Good Shepherd Collinsville Chargers, Lutheran School in Collinsville, were the state runner-ups. They played in the championship game, couldn't pull off the victory, but congratulations to the Good Shepherd Collinsville boys basketball team. So I was there watching 2 basketball teams. We had 5 players. We had a double room taking care of 5 middle school girls.
Fun?
Tons. We had the most fun.
It's fun,
these weekends aren't always what I would summarize at the end as like just fun. They're stressful. And this was maybe the most fun I've ever had on a weekend tournament with this team. It was a great time. I have pictures to show later.
Okay. But you were not plugged into the news because of that.
No, but I know all the slang and the cute boys' names and all of those things.
They all like the same
Spill 'em.
boys?
What are the cute boys' names?
Yeah.
Spill them all right now.
Timmy,
Jake.
Shepherd Smith.
Bernard.
What's he doing these days?
Shep.
Shep. Yeah. Yeah, you know Shep.
Gary Vood. You right?
Gary Vood.
Yeah.
Gary Vood coming in
Yeah.
hot. Who knew?
For whatever reason, you always got to say his last name. Shep and Timmy. They don't have to say
Just
their
doesn't
last
have the same ring when you just say Gary.
No.
Gary Vood.
Gary Vood.
I don't know what's going on. No.
97.1.
That's why I'm tuned into this segment today.
Well, the most important thing you missed this weekend from X, outside of, all the normal crazy political news, is that Steak and Shake has gone MAHA, as in Make America Healthy Again. And they're not just beating around the bush. They went full in on, yes, we're a part of the MAHA movement.
I might have a challenge to this. Go on.
So all weekend, were you watching this all weekend? They were getting promoted a lot.
Seen that they.
Yeah, they it started with just eat more beef tallow, and that they're switching over to beef tallow
Big
for
beef
their
tallow.
Yeah, for their frying, for their steak, or for their fries.
The Ukraine flag of the right.
But I mean, they went all in. They said, "How about a free fries with every Tesla purchase?" Stuff like that. And the CEO.
Get the CEO of Steak and Shake on the show.
COO. His name is Daniel Edwards.
We've had Steak and Shake in studio with us before.
Yeah. Yes, we have.
Was it Fenton?
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was. I
Steak
think it
and
was
Shake.
Fenton's
Reach out to me. You have my contact.
Steak and Shake.
Just call us now.
No,
right now.
Message me.
We're here till 3.
And don't talk to Ryan. Talk to me. Because what Ryan wants is free food.
I
want
what
content.
I mean by call now is come by.
Yeah. Call
you
now.
can't send that stuff to the
and
phone.
the first Steak and Shake owner to call in can bring us free food. That's what you're saying. I want content.
Yeah, so Chief Operations Officer Daniel Edwards was on Fox and Friends last week and said, they're moving to beef tallow, and they've been thinking about it for a while, but they said their owner is all for having better tasting fries, which is I love their fries. So I hope they don't, I would think that they're just getting better, but go ahead.
No, you're reporting, but then you just,
I'm just
meandered off
into
into your
my
personal
own
preference of
opinions
French
on their
fries.
fries.
I said editorial.
Oh, you're just commenting on my commenting.
You're
but
now commenting on.
They have they've switched over to beef tallow among other restaurants that are doing the same thing. And they didn't just do that, though. I mean, they were tweeting about MAHA
I heard
stuff
that they're
all
going to
weekend.
fry their fries now in beef tallow, but I heard that they are, because they're frozen French fries that when they are originally made, that they're in vegetable oil. So I would like clarification on that. I think that the second fry is beef tallow, and it's possible that the first fry is vegetable oil. So, but I like the marketing, and it wouldn't stop me from eating there.
No, there's only one way to find out.
There's the only thing that would stop me from eating a Steak and Shake is if I had to go through the drive-thru. Have you guys fixed that problem yet? We went to the Steak and Shake in Edwardsville, I don't know, 2 months ago or something like that. And we walked in, ordered on a kiosk, sat down, got the food right away. Put my son, they call your name out so you can come get your food from the thing up there. So it's a totally different experience than when you used to get waited on. But since they were like, you have to put a name in, we put in Charlie's name is Charwee, which is what we call him because the little girls could never say the L's, so it was always Charwee. And they said it. And I thought, I'm coming back here because these people know how to have fun. That's the Edwardsville Steak and Shake.
Last time I went to Steak and Shake, it was very fast, but there also was nobody in front of me.
Because you whipped them.
Go ahead, Ethan.
I was just going to say I'm going to represent quickly a sector of the people that don't know what beef tallow is when I ask.
You're not supposed to know what it is. You're just supposed to know that if you're on the right, you support it.
Mm-hmm. If you're on the left, you hate it. You like seed oils.
I retract my question.
Now you're getting the hang of it.
Make America healthy again.
Thank you for
Where's my
representing
red
the
hat?
people.
We're trying to get somebody on the show that would explain it. So if that happens, we'll let you do the interview. With genuine, honest questions. So beef tallow, what the heck is that?
Tell me, what are you?
You're gonna ask of beef tallow. You're interviewing beef tallow. Okay.
They represent the beef tallow.
All right, Andrew Cuomo is entering the race for New York mayor, and apparently as the front runner. But according to polling, he's ahead of all the others, but he trails his own baggage. So all the stuff that he has, that he's coming in with, all the sexual harassment allegations, he is at about 30%, but there are a number of other contenders all at about 10%. The others include Eric Adams. So right now, Andrew Cuomo leading the fray for mayor of New York. Any thoughts?
I'm not criticizing I think it's an interesting political story. I care not at all about the mayor of New York City.
I only do because if there's something really, if there's a big change that happens there, like they say, we're going to get rid of sanctuary city status.
You'll let non-citizens vote?
Or that. Or it could go the other way, too. It affects other cities and their decisions of how to run things. So.
How?
Well, they're the leader. They're the biggest. And if they decide to do something, everybody takes note. Have you ever heard of alcohol, Annie?
Alcohol.
You ever heard of alcohol?
The song?
No. The beverage.
Yes.
Okay.
Familiar.
Well, now there's something different than alcohol, but its effects are similar.
Beef tallow.
Maybe. We don't really know what beef tallow is.
Ethan, you're supposed to drink it.
It's a hot drink.
These are...
Doesn't have to be. It could be a solid.
I was told not to ask questions.
Not about beef tallow.
Really?
That's the only subject. You support it with all your might, and you don't ask questions. If you ask questions, you might have different opinions, and we don't allow for that.
And you have to
not ask questions until I'm doing the interview with the guy who represents
and
beef
the
tallow.
dumber the better.
Then I will ask
because
questions.
the dumber your questions about beef tallow, the more people out there will learn things because we all have really dumb questions.
None of us know.
We're afraid to ask, and if you ask a beef tallow question after, like Maha, those people are educated on this stuff.
I seriously always just think of bone marrow when I think of the words beef tallow.
Everybody wants us to know that it's rendered beef fat.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bone?
we get it.
You cooking this in bones? Seems weird. All right, anyway, about alcohol. I was asking because there's a new drink. Cannabis-infused drinks are hitting the market. Has anybody heard of these yet? Cannabis-infused drinks. They are most familiar cannabinoid... The science
All right,
of
let's
this.
go to our resident expert on cannabis, Ryan Wiggins. Let's take it from here.
The most familiar cannabinoid is
Cannaboid?
delta-9 tetrahydrocannabinol.
You sound like you've read that before.
That's THC.
This is essentially just a whole segment on things we don't really know anything about.
Produces intoxication or euphoria. For some people, it helps ease pain and nausea, but they are putting it into drinks now. And the difference between drinking cannabis and eating cannabis is the time it takes to hit you. They say that cannabis-infused drinks hit you within 15 to 20 minutes, whereas eating a gummy or a brownie takes 30 to 90 minutes.
I'm less in favor of legalized marijuana, cannabis in any way, shape, or form than I was before. I was pretty just libertarian on it. Like, I don't really know enough to say one way or the other. I think we should ban any type of smoking, anything that smells. I think that should not be allowed to be consumed anywhere outside of the home.
This kind of solves that. It's actually one of the reasons I brought it is because
Drink
you don't
up.
smell this. And I
don't care about how stoned everyone's going to be around it.
Everybody's stoned.
As long as you smell okay.
Yeah, as long as I don't have to walk through a store and smell you, then I think we're headed in the right direction.
Is this going to be sold in like stores, like as an alcoholic beverage, or is it going to be like at distilleries?
It's going to be sold as a cannabinoid beverage.
Yeah, I think you still would probably have to buy it at a licensed dealer.
Okay, I don't, there's no reason that I'm asking. It's just,
All Ethan wants to know is, where can I get it?
Where can I get this beverage that's infused with THC? And also, what does THC stand for? Doctor is charging $6,000 per eye to change eye color forever. And it is really, really, really disgusting to watch. However, the effects are kind of cool looking. You see somebody change their eye color to something that, you can do so many like renderings ahead of time to see what you'd look like, that the people who are changing their eye color actually looks pretty cool. But the process,
nope.
No thanks. So $6,000 per eye. And you can watch this online if you want to.
You first have to have an enormous amount of expendable income to be like, how about $12,000 for some blue eyes or whatever you want? Or maybe just $6,000. Maybe you just want one. But why? What would push somebody? I mean, I understand wanting to look thinner. I understand wanting to look younger. I understand maybe wanting to fix, like if you had a scarring situation, massive weight loss, and you want to tighten the skin and stuff. How bad can an eye color be?
Yeah, I know.
I don't understand that.
I mean, if you're an influencer or something like that, but you can also wear contacts that change your eye color.
Just have a cannabis drink and go on with your day.
We will.
Steve Moore, Ryan Schmelz next.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't vinyl, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
What's your favorite four-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our four-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar, and maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
He's accused of paving the way for a deadly attack on U.S. troops. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Suspected Abbey Gate planner Mohammed Sharafullah due in court at this hour for a preliminary hearing.
According to court documents, he was one of the architects behind the suicide bombing on August 26, 2021 that killed 13 U.S. service members and 160 civilians at the Abbey Gate of Hamid Karzai International Airport as U.S. troops were pulling out of Afghanistan.
Fox's David Spund, President Trump announcing Sharafullah's arrest during last week's address to Congress. There's a deepening sell-off on Wall Street fueled by cost concerns as China's tariffs on key U.S. exports take effect. The Dow and the NASDAQ both down more than 700 points. President Trump is set to meet with several top tech executives, including from IBM and Intel. The president says the arrest of a Palestinian grad student who helped lead pro-Palestinian protests at Columbia University in New York is the first of many arrests to come.
Mahmoud Khalil is no longer walking around this campus with a megaphone yelling Free Palestine. That's because he's behind bars in ICE custody out in Louisiana after ICE agents revoked his green card, revoked his visa, and said he was aligning with Hamas.
Fox's Alexis McAdams at Columbia. Khalil's attorney is challenging his detention in court and accusing the Trump administration of repressing student activism and political speech. President Trump just posting that many protesters engaging in what he calls pro-terrorist, anti-Semitic, and anti-American activity on campuses are not students but paid agitators. He's vowing to find and deport terrorist sympathizers. The Trump administration recently pausing $400 million in federal funding for Columbia University. Well, now Harvard, which also has had protests on campus, is announcing a hiring freeze, citing preparation for a wide range of financial circumstances. America is listening to Fox News.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What a wonderful Monday afternoon of weather. Lots of sunshine. What a temperature pop. 73 for the high. That's way above average, but it's well short of a record. The record's 86. Tonight, clear skies, 51. Tuesday, sunny and 71. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny, 72 each day. Some thunderstorms late in the week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Do you ever wonder if you've saved enough to retire? Discover how you could make your money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class called Retirement Planning 101. Hey guys, it's Dave Glover here. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience, and they're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. You'll learn about reducing your taxes, maximizing your Social Security, paying for health care, and more. There's no cost. We would ask that you bring 3 canned goods that we're going to pass on to the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. So you have 2 jobs when it comes to retirement, in my humble opinion. One is saving the money, putting it away. And then the other, just as important, is how do you take it out and what do you do with it after that? Find out at Retirement Planning 101. Simply call 314-350-8110. Again, no money necessary. 314-350-8110. 350-8110.
If you're a homeowner, it's time to upgrade your windows with Window World. Mark Cox here. I am a satisfied customer. I love the windows they put in my house, and there's a reason they're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in this country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. They have that lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You don't have to worry about it anymore. And in over 20 years in business, they have improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 76,000 customers in the greater St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 36 months, same as cash financing, with approved credit. And I think the customer service sets them apart from the rest of their competition. And they have an excellent track record with the Better Business Bureau. They've also raised a lot of money, over $3 million for local and national charities. So be sure and check them out. Call them at 314-993-1800. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. You can also go to windowworld.com.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. 314-336-1991. Check out thegelmanteam.com.
Men, are you just not feeling it? Could be your testosterone. U.S. Men's Medical Center in St. Peter's helps men experiencing loss of energy, focus, concentration, and low libido. Check out the testimonials at usmensmedicalcenter.com. Patients are excited about feeling great, having energy, improved libido. Plus, they love the staff and the fact that they accept all insurance, including Medicare. Spring's coming. Enjoy it. Call U.S. Men's Medical Center at 636-244-5333. USMen'sMedicalCenter.com.
Brian Kilmeade here, and I'll be there on Saturday, March 22nd. Jot that down at the Factory in Chesterfield in this engaging motivational journey through America's past. Tickets available at 971talk.com/events.
Sponsored by Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Well, it's no secret if you have watched the show here, the Annie Fry Show, on our Annie Fry YouTube channel, that we play a lot of videos on the radio. Now, if you're a listener to 97.1, you might not realize that a lot of times, at least in the live stream, that we're doing videos with that. Those videos often are from X, Elon Musk's X. There is a really handy feature that we can share those videos and play them so you get a little bit of a listening and viewing experience, but also because we're able to turn those videos around after the show. If you've heard us talk about the Annie Fry YouTube channel and you think of it as a YouTube live stream, that makes a lot of sense. We certainly promote that quite a bit, but we also put out a lot of videos after the show. Brad is always trying to put together quick, short videos. You know, you watch them on Instagram, you know, you watch them on Facebook, you probably watch YouTube shorts. Of course, the leading consideration is TikTok. We're not on TikTok. I want to be on TikTok, but I don't want to be on China's TikTok. So we're just kind of waiting that one out. But those videos make it more interesting content. And then we use that as an opportunity and an avenue to get the show a further reach. Well, when X is down, this show operates a little bit differently. We don't have the ability to stream the videos, at least from the same place that we traditionally do. So everything kind of gets thrown with a little bit of a wrench in there, and we've got to work around it. That's fine. Fox Business is reporting tech billionaire Elon Musk has said that the social media platform he owns is facing a massive cyber attack that's happening right now. Let's see here. Musk said there still is, a massive cyber attack against X We get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group and or a country is involved. Tracing, ... So they're getting to the bottom of it. X suffered periodic outages on Monday morning. So the way we communicate with each other in large part on the show, leading into the show, and after the show, and around the show is through DMs.
And on the weekends. And
just, yeah, I mean, there's a group text, but there's also a lot of X DMs that go on. And it's all down. It's all gone. I was very... I was made very aware of how much Elon Musk is right when he says that you were the media now. When X went down and I couldn't look at X, it is a huge part of my preparation for the show because it's just an aggregate of everything that's out there. What I've curated in my feed versus there's a For You page and there's your following page. So there are things that here's your feed that you've said this is what I want to see, and then X is like, here are some other things that you might want to see that you aren't following already. When that's not there, and I have to go do research the old-fashioned way, which is just going to websites at like news organizations, going to Fox News, going to CNBC, or going to wherever destinations without it being served to me on a platter in an aggregate feed, that changes things quite a bit. But it also immediately shuts down the voices of so many independent people who don't have platforms like Fox News to disseminate information. And it just kind of struck me, X is the game changer that Elon Musk has said that it was. And it always had the opportunity to be like that with Twitter, but they put their thumb on the scale. Once you realized how much Biden's federal government was working hand in glove with the people at Twitter to control what you could and could not say, it makes everything lose credibility. So if you see things that you believe, if you read stories that have been disseminated to you from, maybe mostly reputable news organizations that maybe lean the other way a little bit, but you can read it with that knowledge in your brain, all of a sudden you have to question everything and say, why is it that this is being served to me? Why is it that this particular thing is being amplified? Wow, that post looks like it's gotten a lot of traction. Well, why is it? Is it because it's valuable and worthy information? Or is it simply because Twitter just showed it to a bunch of people and the counterpoint to whatever that said story is wasn't? They can control so much in their story selection, in their amplification, in their suppression, that when you take that away, when Elon Musk buys X and opens it up, and I can think of many times, gosh, Kanye West, just maybe the biggest moron that exists on the planet right now. I don't know if he's fully consumed by hate. I think he has a significant mental problem that is allowing itself to manifest in front of everybody. I mean, you're seeing some of this stuff on X, and he's there, and he's allowed to say it. And the question really rises, like, what does Elon Musk need to step in and say, no, you can't do that? And he has very much so erred on the side of, this is the wild, wild west. And if you all don't like it, community note it. If it's wrong, we'll take it down, whatever. It's a great example of how America exists in a self-policing of thought and not a police state of thought, where when somebody among us is acting a fool, we point at him and say, you're a fool. And that person is not, it's not necessarily criminal for that person to be a fool or foolish, but it's society's responsibility to identify it, to call it out, and to shame it. And you can do that with effect without having the government step in and do that for you. Because if you turn the power over to the government to step in and do that for you, what happens when the government just disagrees with you? We know the answer to that because we just lived it. So that was a very brief Fox Business update that X is under a cyber attack. It does appear as though it's kind of coming up and it's going down. And I don't know what the results of this is going to be, but we'll continue to follow it. Why? Because that's how we do a lot of our show. So we're doing it without it today. Sorry.
Well, it's the report. I didn't know the report until you just read it from Elon Musk about who is responsible. He said, well, we get these all the time. People are constantly trying to attack us, but this one is a pretty major one with some real resources behind it. So you have either a nation or a group, well-funded group, that has gone after free speech. And if you're on the left and you're like, oh, I like old Twitter, I like the way it used to be. Well, that's because it was weighted in your favor. Now, just a month or so ago, CNN came out with a poll or with a data, I think it was from Harry Enton, who said, if you look at the users of Twitter now, and I don't know if he was looking at the content or just the people using Twitter, but either way, he said it's about 50-50. It's about 50% Democrats, 50% Republicans, where it used to be skewed very left.
Yeah.
So if you're saying, well, I don't like the way it's become, well, what you're against is an actual free speech platform now, because that's what it is.
People look at something and they hate it. They hate what they see. I can't believe some of the things that Kanye West is putting out there. I can't believe it. And when I see him, this is really kind of the point. When I see the stuff that he's putting out there, you know what I judge? Kanye.
Mm-hmm.
I have the sensibility to look at that and make a very sound, informed judgment on Kanye. I'd really rather know that he's like that than have it be banned and have me not know, and then see somebody's wearing Yeezys or something like that and not realize that he's this type of person. I would really rather know. And if you see that type of stuff, I wouldn't want somebody to amplify it. But if you see the type of anti-Semitic to me is not even a strong enough statement to the type of things that he's putting out there. When you see that he is intentionally, from a marketing PR standpoint, being as shocking and repulsive as he absolutely possibly can, it's just how I know who I want to be associated with, and who, if I hear my kids listening to a Kanye song, we're going to have a conversation about that. And I get to have that because I know. And if there's a police state out there, or if there is a hyper monitored, even if I personally, this is kind of the thing. I personally wouldn't be upset at all if they censored Kanye West on X. That's my personal view. It'd be nice if he went away. But my personal view isn't everybody else's personal view. And how do you choose whose personal views you go with? When it comes to free speech and all of that, like the hatefulness, the disgustingness that some of these people are putting out there, I want to know that so that I can shun them, that I can shame them, that I can call out how despicable and disgusting of human beings that they are. I don't think that them putting that out there amplifies some sort of message in a net positive way. Now, maybe the minority of people out there who see that, who have their thoughts amplified, maybe the case can be made that that's dangerous. That case should be made and tried. Do you think that's, No,
that's free speech. You're defining free speech. And then it swings both ways, too, because I follow a lot of writers, comedy writers especially, and some of these people are the people behind the late night shows and SNL, and I want to know what they believe. If they put stuff out there that's really conservative, obviously that'd be weird, but if they put stuff out that's very, very far left, and then you see a joke come out on one of those shows, you kind of know where it's coming from. You may not know exactly which writer wrote it, but you kind of know the feeling in the room usually. Likewise, how about this? If you have an administrator, a school administrator out there talking about how they really want to make sure all sexualities and things, like talk highly sexualized language that they're putting out there, I would rather read that and know that. It may not be my view, but at least I know where you're coming from, and I know which school district you represent, because maybe my kids go there. It's just better to have more information.
Look at what is being protected and has been protected on these high-level university campuses. Look at what people have been. Look at what people have said and advocated for. People who are there saying that what Hamas has done is like a moral good thing, a righteous cause. I am shocked at seeing what some of these individuals are advocating for on these college university campuses. And they get to do it in the name of free speech. And then on X, it's like, shame, shame, shame on these people. You can't really have it both ways. I do have, this is news today, that one of the lead organizers of these like pro-Hamas protests that are taking place, is it Columbia or Yale? I can't remember which one it is.
I think it's Columbia.
Columbia. He's here on a visa. And the State Department said, not anymore. Go away. Go back home. Go to where you came from. Your visa, your green card. I heard this on Outnumbered today. Your green card is not a green light. Your green card is a privilege. And if you're going to choose to come here and amplify those types of things, that privilege is rescinded. You have a different set of responsibilities when you're here in that capacity. And if you want to disrespect that system, and I'm talking about a system that has been disrespected top to bottom, not by the people who are coming here so much as the people who are operating it for the last 4 years plus. There are so many nooks and crannies of what the United States federal government under Donald Trump's administration is doing that it's like they do that they rescind this green card for this person who's here organizing people who are saying that Hamas is morally righteous in what they did on October 7th. And our government is now saying, no more. You're done. Goodbye. And I'm sitting here going, obviously. Why the heck haven't we been doing this?
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, there's a very important distinction that's being made there. I don't know if they're intending to, but they are. That the people of this country have constitutionally protected rights of free speech, being among them. That is a right allowed to the citizens of this country. If you are here as a non-citizen, those constitutional rights don't apply to you. That is not the way it works. And this administration understands the Constitution enough to understand that basic fact.
Yeah. The many different protests and so on that have been organized by this individual have been very Hamas supporting. And it's repulsive to know that exists. Now, if you're Kanye West and you're repulsive and hateful and you're on X and you're an American citizen on a platform that is being known for being hyper pro-speech, do you handle that the same way? I don't know. There's no justification for the intent, the purpose of what Kanye West is doing. He's a despicable person, and he's gone back and forth. Like I said, I think he has some sort of mental concern that is causing him to be this way. It's just very manic in the way that he behaves. But it's obviously hateful. And when you see things that are hateful, you should point to it and say, that's hateful. It doesn't matter if the person has ever supported something that you support. You're not beholden to any of that. We should all be able to morally oppose hate in any capacity. And Kanye West is in that as well. And I think we should point and call it out and shame those people as publicly as possible. That's kind of American, right?
It's also pretty basic. Basic. That's what you do. That's what you got to do. I didn't mean you're basic. I meant you basic.
I don't think that's what Kanye West. I don't think you know.
Do I not know what that means? Because I kind of don't.
I don't think that word means what you think it means. All right, let's take a quick break. Ryan Schmelz is going to be with us when we return. Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill, and White House correspondent. Always great to talk to him. He's going to discuss with us the solution to whatever our YouTube live chat poll is. GOP legislators back Trump's request for that continuing resolution. Trump says we need till September. We know we want to get this right. We need a little bit more time. The government shutdown would happen if we don't act by Friday. Do us this one solid. Give us a CR. And that is not what the Republicans have been pounding their fist on the table for. Can the Republicans get the job done? Ryan Schmelz will tell us next. Don't go away.
This is The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Is anybody here? I know. 'Cause nothing's going right and everything's a mess. And
Retirement Advisory Group, March 25th. Gonna see you there, aren't I? Have you reserved your spot yet? I hope you have, but if you haven't, I'm going to give you the phone number here in just a minute that you can call and reserve your spot at this free Protecting Your Retirement educational event. We do 5 or 6 of these a year, and they sell out, they fill up. But I want to make sure that you get in there. I want to fill that room with Annie Fry Show listeners, and I would love the opportunity to meet you. So I will be there at 6 o'clock. The event starts at 6:30. So if you want to meet me, to meet Mark Cox and Mark Reardon, show up early, get some free snacks and some free drinks, and be prepared for a pretty short seminar that's going to tell you how the Retirement Advisory Group can help guide you into that transitionary period where once you become 59 and a half or older, you have access to really smart moves that you need to make to protect your retirement and make sure that you don't have to suffer any market downturns. Like, I don't know when that happens. You don't want to participate in a market downturn, but you do want to participate in the market ups. It's all about the Retirement Advisory Group in this free event. Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton. I'll be there at 6. Event starts at 6:30. Come early. 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. Online at retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here from my friends at Triton Exteriors. Hopefully you've heard me talk about Triton before, and you know that I'm good friends with their owner, Tim, that I love their commitment to customer service. Tim comes from the restaurant business, and so he is completely focused on your happiness. The answer is yes. What's the question? Also, we're not just your average contractor. We're your neighbor. We're proudly based in Shrewsbury. We deliver stunning exteriors with James Hardie Siding. So why James Hardie? Why is that a big deal? Well, it's the #1 brand for durability, curb appeal, and the best-in-class return on investment. As part of the James Hardie Alliance, we bring expert craftsmanship and a personal touch to every project. Your home deserves the best, and with Triton Exteriors and James Hardie, that's exactly what you're going to get. For roofing, siding, gutters, or fences, call 314-717-1159 or go to triton-stl.com. 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
Hi, everyone. Brian Kilmeade here with a great announcement, especially everybody here at KFTK. St. Louis, I'm coming to you March 22nd at the factory on stage. You're going to love this unscripted affair. It's going to be patriotic, inspirational, motivational. I'll go through all my books, give you the anecdotes inside Fox. We'll go over the news, the war on history, and the comeback of this guy, Donald Trump. Mark Reardon's going to join me on stage. Maybe some surprises in the lineup, but most of all, I want to see you. BrianKilmeade.com. Click on tickets. March 22nd at the factory.
You're leaving for work, but the garage door won't open. Is it the opener? Is the spring broken? Now you're late and your car is trapped. Well, don't panic. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is here with same-day emergency service. They won't leave you stuck. The original Red Ribbon Garage Door Company, trusted in St. Louis since 1926. Call 314-781-5200 or schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 55 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, Jimmy Fallon here with a quick listening tip for you. If you miss Fox Across America or any of your other Fox News favorites, do not worry. I got you covered. You can stream previously aired shows with Rewind, available exclusively on the free Odyssey app. So if you're busy work days, it doesn't mean you have to miss out on the news. Listen to your Fox shows on your time with Odyssey. To get started, just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio. That's Odyssey, Audacy. I'm spelling it out in case you're a little slow like me.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. The Mark Reardon Show.
Selena Zito.
We should not be drawing attention to ourselves. We should be reporting on the news. And when we make it about our feelings are hurt and we don't want to do this, that's fine, but there's consequences.
The Mark Reardon Show. Weekdays from 3 to 6. This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Well, if the Democrats want to close government down, that's up to them. But I believe we will have the votes. I think the importance of it's going to be stressed by the president. And I think we have to follow the president's lead in this case. We do not want to close government down. At the same time, we're making major reforms, and these reforms take time, and they need to be done, as we're going to discuss, I think, in a few moments, carefully, as I have said, and of course the president is saying as well now, they need to be done with a scalpel rather than a sledgehammer. I think that's what we're going to do, and we're going to work through this. And in the interim, unfortunately, this is necessary as well. The president's going to make that clear, and I think the members of Congress are going to follow suit, at least on our side.
New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew talking about the CR, the continuing resolution that President Trump has asked those legislators to support. Now, I've heard a lot of nasty things about continuing resolutions or CRs from Republicans, from Democrats as well, but certainly from Republicans. Now President Trump is saying, we got to do it. We've got to get this CR. Give me till September. Let's talk to the man on Capitol Hill. We are joined once again by Ryan Schmelz, Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. Thank you again for being with us, Ryan. Always good to have you on their show.
Always great to be on, Annie. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Now, I think that with a very slim majority of Republicans in the House and this new kind of wrinkle in the budgeting process, is it surprising that we're trying to pursue a CR under Donald Trump's advisement here? Did they see this coming, or was this a pivot at some point?
I wouldn't say it's shocking because, the last government funding package funded the government until the Ides of March 14th. Of course, it just had to be that date. And then you had President Trump taking office in late January. So they were always going to be up against the clock when it came to how they were going to fund the government. And they spent a lot of their first 2 months in office, getting President Trump's cabinet nominees confirmed, but also working on the one big beautiful bill of the reconciliation process. So the CR kind of got pushed to the side for a little bit. So getting the full budget that Republicans wanted to get done was always going to be a challenge. But now it looks like they're going to try to punt this all the way to the end of September and then try to focus on the 12 individual spending bills so they can avoid a CR in the future.
I want to take this way back to the 100 level class, the entry level class of, how do we get a bill? How do we get a budget? Because I feel like I'm looking at a table with a lot of information on it. I want to organize the stacks of paper so people understand what we're talking about, because we've discussed with you, Ryan, the House has passed a bill. We've discussed with you the Senate has passed a bill. We've heard about the word reconciliation. Now we're hearing about continuing resolutions. Can you walk us through this process of what this CR takes the place of in the midst of the work that has already been done in Congress to get us back to a place of fiscal responsibility?
Right. So the term budget reconciliation, I think, is really confusing to some people because I think they see the word budget and they assume that means that this is the bill that's going to fund the government, when it's not. It's more the bill that's going to get a lot of President Trump's agenda items through: border security, national security, energy policy, spending cuts. That's where budget reconciliation plays into. It also involves tax law. But when it comes to just the funding of the government, that is the March 14th deadline that we're dealing with right now. The government is currently funded under what's called a CR, a continuing resolution. So if they are to pass a CR, it is essentially a short-term extension of government funding, the current government funding levels that go all the way back to fiscal year 2024 that President Biden signed into law. They would extend that until the end of September, and then they would try to work on what's called the appropriations process, which is supposed to be the process for getting a full budget passed. You would have 12 individual spending bills that would fund different parts of the government, and pretty much they would work through each one of those bills. They would try to pass them out of committee, then pass them before the House, pass them before the Senate, and get them signed into law, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it sure does. We're speaking with Ryan Schmelz. He's an expert on all of this, Fox News Radio Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. So Donald Trump has asked for more time. And as you pointed out very smartly, so since January 20th, when he has been sworn into office, we are not even to March 20th yet. So just a few months short, just a couple months short of being in the office. There's a lot to do as soon as you get in there. And the CRs have been pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. How do you feel this Republican, very slim majority, maybe you can tell us what that majority is right now in the House, how do you feel about their ability to listen to the president and say, okay, let's go all in behind the president's leadership here and do what he's asking us to get done?
Well, President Trump definitely makes Speaker Johnson's job a lot easier because most Republicans are going to go along with what President Trump says. That doesn't mean every Republican's going to go along, like Thomas Massey of Kentucky, who's already said he's a no on this upcoming CR vote that's going to happen tomorrow. But you're seeing people who probably would have never supported a CR in the past say they're open to a clean CR. That's an extension of President Biden's funding levels. Keep that in mind. Like the Freedom Caucus chairman, Andy Harris, Chip Roy, some of those names are a lot more open to a CR than they otherwise would have been in the past. So that's kind of giving, I think, Speaker Johnson a lot more of an assist than he needed than he otherwise would have had, before President Trump was in office. But Annie, what's interesting here is that Democrats don't seem like they're going to be willing to play ball with this one. And that's going to be a major problem because even if they're able to all get on the same page and get this thing through the House, well, the Senate, they're going to need 60 votes. That's an entirely different story there.
So, I'm reading from this article here from Fox News, and it's got a quote from a trio of House Democrat leaders, which included House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, saying, "We're voting no." I've heard many times when the tables were turned, Democrats saying how irresponsible it is to participate in anything that would involve a government shutdown. How are the Democrats advocating right now to vote against the CR of Biden's spending? Why in the world would they vote in that against this if it's something that Biden had already put into place and it would shut down the government?
Well, the argument here, there's a couple of them, but I think the big argument that Democrats are making right now is that they think they want provisions in there that would, quote unquote, what Republicans say would be reining in President Trump's power. Democrats say it's forcing President Trump to follow the law. They want provisions in there or guarantees that President Trump, if money is approved by Congress to fund the government, that money will go to what it's intended to do. And President Trump can't go in there and either rescind that funding or spend it on something else. Those are the kind of the guarantees they want before they go along with the CR. Now, there are some other arguments here, and that is that people don't like the government being funded on a CR in general, especially when it comes to military spending. You're spending money on programs that no longer exist. You're spending money on programs that might be outdated, and you can't really start any new military projects. That becomes a huge issue for military readiness. So there's some Democrats out there who think that the better idea would just be to do a month-long CR and then negotiate an omnibus to pass a month from now. And believe it or not, the appropriations chair, Susan Collins, top Republican on that committee, is on board with that idea. But I think she's kind of accepted the reality that the House is just not going to go along with that. So your best option now is a year-long CR that takes government funding until the end of September.
Ryan, what is President Trump's strategy here? Is he saying, well, this is why we're doing this? Because he's gotten everybody almost on board. So what's he saying they're going to come back and do in September?
Well, I think they're going to try to go for the full-on appropriations process. They're going to try to pass each bill, all 12 spending bills, separately, get them across the finish line. I think the idea with some Republicans is that they would be able to get agency heads into the room to do hearings with the committees and also get some of the cabinet secretaries in there too and explain, where they're going to find savings, where they're going to find cuts, and how they're going to make those changes for the next fiscal year. And I think Republicans are also justifying this as, well, we still have that other process, the one big, beautiful bill. Well, that could be an opportunity for them to codify some of these DOGE savings and these DOGE cuts by using what's called a rescissions package, where you would pretty much send a bill to Congress. It would show some of the savings and some of the cuts and explain why you're doing it. And then you could attach that to the one big, beautiful bill and get some of those DOGE savings codified.
Well, there's a lot of work to be done, and I assume this is going to be a very busy week on Capitol Hill. Ryan Schmelz, we appreciate you. Thank you for the update. Can't wait to hear how this goes next week in our next conversation.
Sounds good, Annie. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Ryan Schmelz, he is our go-to on Capitol Hill. He's Fox News Radio, Capitol Hill and White House correspondent. Great to have his thoughts on this moment in time. There's going to be a lot of work that is going to need to be getting done this week. And I think it'll be very important to watch how the Republicans choose to work with each other or against each other. We have not had nearly as much drama with this small Republican majority as we have had in years past. They've been able to get the job done so far. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Steve Moore is going to be with us in the next segment, but not that Stephen Moore, the one that we were going to talk to at 1 o'clock. He had a scheduling conflict, which is to be expected from time to time. We're going to talk to Steve Moore, our boss, on the Annie Fry Show next. Ryan?
Can I stay in?
Yeah, but you should get your things.
Oh.
If you're going to go out in radio, don't you want to do it publicly?
Kinda. But I always liked the 2 o'clock hour, though, and I was looking forward to that.
There is big news, and we're going to talk with Steve Moore. You're fine, Ryan.
Oh, good.
I mean, unless we're both gone.
You know, wouldn't that be the craziest way to find out?
And I invited him in here.
You invited him?
No, very exciting news on the horizon here, and we are going to bring it to you next with our boss in studio. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Michael's Flooring Outlet online at igotfloored.com, but also here in St. Louis in 3 great locations. Visit them in St. Charles County, located on Main Street in Old Town St. Peters at Mid Rivers and Highway 70. West County on Olive Boulevard. You can find him in Darting Prairie, but also, like I said, online at igotfloored.com. Shopping on their website really helps you when you walk into the store to make that final purchase. If you need to, you can go request an appointment right now. They'll come to you. You can request an estimate from igotfloored.com. You can shop through all of the different flooring finishes that they have. If you're looking for fresh new carpet in your home to revive that coziness feeling inside your house, or commercially as well. They do both residential and commercial. If you're looking for the top lines, the Techwood Select and Plus line of flooring, if you're looking for the Smart Strand Mohawk Silk line, the superior performance of carpeting, it's all there at Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Imagine this, a summer evening, relaxing under a beautiful porch overhang, hosting your friends on a composite deck, or enjoying a bug-free breeze in a screened room. That sounds dreamy, right? Hi, it's Kim, and that dream can be your reality with Lakeside Renovation and Design, because they specialize in creating outdoor spaces that make your backyard the go-to spot for family and friends. And with their attention to detail and the high-quality materials they use, you'll have a space that lasts for years. Visit lakesideRD.com today to get started on your outdoor oasis.
Call Point Pest Control, mention Annie, and get 10% off your pest problem. Once summertime hits, ant populations begin to reach peak numbers, maybe even into the millions. Call Point Pest Control before they invade your home. Call Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution, a CR, as we were just talking about with Ryan Schmelz, to fund the government through September? Yes or no? Let us know. Looking forward to seeing what you think about this, especially you hardcore fiscal conservatives just like me. Let us know. We'll let you know how this poll turns out at the end of the show in a little over an hour. 1:42. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
97.1 FM Talk presents Talk in Action, where we shine a spotlight on local charities making a difference in our community. Join us as we give back and connect neighbors in need. Visit 971talk.com/talkinaction to learn more.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Beautiful day in St. Louis. It's just one of those banner days where you walk outside and you're like, oh, okay, now this is right. I said I was in Chicago this weekend and it was snow globe snowing on Friday and it was beautiful, but I was thinking, man, if I get back home and it's brown and 20 degrees, I'm gonna be mad about that. It's not. It's wonderful outside, and today's a really great day for St. Louis for another reason. We thought we'd bring our boss, Steve Moore, into the studio with us to talk about, you've heard about some changes if you're paying attention to the local news here at Odyssey St. Louis, but there's a big change that was announced today, and who better to talk about it than you, Steve? Thanks for coming in.
I'm happy to be here. Yeah, anytime I can come in with good news, that's a really good thing.
Steve wore a suit coat today. He's wearing a whole suit today.
Anytime he wears a suit,
stuff's
do you
happening.
Get excited or scared?
Oh, scared.
Scared?
Big time scared.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find chairs for Ryan. That's my whole mission.
Yeah, I just want a better chair.
I actually almost opened with the chairs, and I thought, no, that's selfish.
Yeah, it's not.
Thank you. These chairs suck so bad, Steve.
It's not a great look.
Anyway.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we wanted to.
Can we get a timetable? Because we're working on it is what a lot of administrations in the past have said.
That's what I'd say. So tell us about this really big, exciting announcement. And it's, of course, with our sister station. Weird for me to come on here and be like, look at what KMOX is doing. But it makes Odyssey St. Louis stronger. And I also think it makes 97.1 stronger, which is why I wanted Steve to talk about it.
Well, I think that's exactly right. We've been wanting to move KMOX into a simulcast on the FM dial for some time. The opportunity has presented itself, and so effective March the 24th, KMOX, Cardinal baseball, Billiken basketball, Chiefs football will all be heard on the FM dial. So it's a huge deal for the KMOX audience. It's a huge deal for our cluster, and I think speaks a lot about our company as well. They're really invested and they believe in spoken word radio. Radio has had its challenges.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't have its challenges. But Odyssey and a lot of the spoken word, a lot of the companies believe in spoken word. They believe in local, and they believe in local voices and what we can bring to the table for both the listener and for the advertisers. And so I think this is a big day and a big step for this cluster and for KMOX.
Yeah, I think so too. And one thing that I love about KMOX, I grew up. Now, it's come as no surprise to people that I'm a Rush baby. I grew up with my dad listening to Rush and really taking my face and going, Annie, listen to this man. And I was one of those people who was watching Rush Limbaugh on a late night talk show for 1 or 2 years, however long he did it. I think it came on after Star Trek, and I'd be like, Dad, can I stay up for Star Trek? Can I stay up for Rush? And I think when I said Rush, he was like, fine. And so here we are. But
what a good parent.
Yeah, I know, right? Just ask Ryan.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was American Gladiators, but same idea.
But KMOX has always been the heart of St. Louis, and I think that the local offering that St. Louis brings, and you just listed the top iconic brands that are associated with St. Louis. I don't really feel like what KMOX is offering is what we're offering. It's a very different thing. And I know that people have when we came over here and everything, I've been with 97.1 since 2009. I was like, oh, how's this going to go? We're going to be in the same building as KMOX. And that's when I was on opposite Rush.
Right.
The way these stations are set up, the goal, the focus of these stations, it's a very different thing. And I do truly believe that we are stronger going forward with this, and I'm excited about it.
Well, it's by design. 97.1 is a terrific radio station. Along with its Fox News brand, it owns conservative talk in this market. It's by far, in a way, the largest conservative talk radio station in the marketplace. There's lots of noise about the commitment to conservative radio. There's been no change on the radio station, continues to operate at full bore. And that meant that KMOX had to do something different because we want to protect the KFTK brand. We've moved KMOX away and trying to stay out of the political game as much as possible. We've really leaned into sports. A lot of Cardinals coverage, a lot of Billikens coverage, a lot of NFL. But we talk local. We talk local news and current events. And I call it I call it suburban angst topics. Like that's the let 97.1 do conservative and kind of some of the national scene. You can localize it very well, but you're going to do it through your lens. And KMOX needs to do it from a different lens, but kind of do local out. That's kind of the mission statement there. The 104.1, I think KMOX's product is a terrific product. I'm proud of what they accomplish and what they do. I think the 104.1 just expands its footprint in the marketplace to allow more people. Currently, it's on an HD radio station and simulcast on an HD radio station, and 98.7, which has been a good stick for it, but it's not a market.
Stick is market term.
Sorry.
Yeah, using it too many meetings.
104 is, as they say, a big stick.
It is. It's a full service stick that has been expanded recently with some upgrades that we've done there, and so now people, if they listen on 1120, they're going to get it. If they're going to listen on 104.1, they're not going to have to drive into certain communities and not be able to get it. They can get it in their office. So we're excited about that, and it's like I said, it's a big step for KMOX. It's a big step for our cluster.
Yeah, you listed off the sports teams that we are associated with here in Odyssey, St. Louis, and KMOX. What were they again?
Obviously we
Cardinals.
flagship the Cardinals, and we flagship the Billikens. Our sister station in Kansas City has the Chiefs, so we carry the Chiefs, and we carry a Westwood One package. But I like, experimenting with other things, and we brought in the Battlehawks last year for the playoff game, and did that right here on 97.1. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not an opportunity to do something like that again in the future. There's other sports opportunities, I think, as well, that we can look at down the road.
I think that where I sit, of course, is what we do here noon to 3 on 97.1, and if you're not competing, if you don't look for opportunities to improve, then you're probably in a state of atrophy, and that's never good. So I think iron sharpens iron. But I think I will say, with all the noise that's out there around conservative talk radio, where it might go, how it might be maybe even throttled a little bit, I've not once experienced, Steve, you can vouch for this, you've never ever asked me to talk about something, to not talk about something, to talk about something a certain way. Yeah, he's like he's got his finger on the dump button as we speak, just in case I go off the rails. But I have never been hindered by this company. I've been provided a great opportunity by this company. Steve, you as well have been encouraging. I'm excited about the move forward. I'm excited that Hot is still going to be at 98.7, so that brand still exists for the city.
That's actually an important note. That so that's right. Hot 104.1 is the current product that's on the 104.1 FM signal. That is moving to 98.7. It'll be Hot 98.7. They'll start simulcasting that on Wednesday, and then on March 24th, that'll change as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the nobody at the company has ever called me and said, "Hey, watch what you're saying." Other than that buffer audio clip. Let's get ready to whatever they say. You can't say.
No, you're too close. Don't even get close.
Every tumble.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to whatever they call that. So that and
don't do that.
Don't do
Martin
that.
Luther King's speeches.
Super
don't do that.
copyrighted. Yeah.
Don't talk about the Super Bowl. Oh.
Not an ad. This isn't an ad.
That's
so
right.
You're
so
fine.
That's a $25,000 fine.
I have a great suggestion.
Sure. I can't wait. By the way.
So I'm sure KMOX is probably like shopping around for taglines. Maybe something like "Speak softly, but carry a big stick."
Look at you.
You like that?
You know what? That's brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Sharp as a tack, this guy.
Thank you. And by the way, you talking about how the bosses never tell you what to say. That's just a world I don't live in.
You have that problem?
Yeah, they never tell me what to say, but they do give me a lot of weird looks. Like even this morning, I walked into a meeting and I said something and Steve was like, I'm not sure that one played well. Like he criticizes me quite a bit.
I wouldn't call that criticism.
I want to add too before we let you go, Steve. Steve's got meetings until 2026. But the other thing is, we're covering from a news standpoint. Nationally, Doge is out there. Doge is looking to pull dollars that are spent back. It's affecting real people. I hear from you. I get your emails. I get your written letters, phone calls about your connections to people who are a part of cutbacks, and you're reminding me to be sensitive when we talk about this topic at Doge, that this is going to affect real people. You listening right now have loved ones who work with the government, have people who maybe yourself are concerned about what your future is. And I've related it to working in this industry. Radio is such a cutthroat industry, media in general, but radio is my experience. It's not easy. You hold your breath frequently. I personally rely on my faith to be like, well, God's got me one way or the other, and I'll go where he leads me. When you're a part of this and people are losing their jobs, it's sad, it's difficult, and we always pray for the best outcome for those people when they go on to the next thing. So we don't take, from a national standpoint, I really don't take it lightly when we're talking about people losing their jobs. It is the nature of the business. The private sector does this because they're constantly looking for opportunities to get better. We've been looking for the government to try to care for the dollars that they take in from the taxpayer in order to make the government more efficient. So this is never an easy thing to go through. I've never been on the management side of it to understand what it's like to be on that side of the desk. It's a difficult thing, but there's also some light at the end of the tunnel for new opportunities that are going to present themselves in the future if this goes the way you hope it does. Yeah,
I mean, what we just went through is never an easy thing, and I don't take it for granted, and it affects people's lives. So that's something you shouldn't take for granted. But I work for a company, and there's expectations, and there are goals, and so you look at it and you go, okay, so what is the best way to be successful, and try to be strategic and put together a game plan, and that's what we're doing here, and I think this is a significant and a big step for. Again, I think it's a big step for KMOX. I think it's a huge step for our cluster and for Odyssey in general.
Yep. Well, I was thrilled for KMOX's new step, and also at the same time, I think it's worthy of mentioning. Thankful once again in Odyssey's confidence in 97.1 and their continued investment in making sure that we're here to talk to you, and I'm grateful for it. Steve, thanks for the time.
Thank you very much, guys.
Appreciate it. Good to see you.
Thank you for having me in.
You bet. We'll take a quick break here in 2 o'clock hour. I'll talk a little bit about my state basketball weekend with the junior high girls basketball team my husband and I coach. What's that like? And going downtown Chicago. I have thoughts on this great city that a lot of residents in Illinois want to just, scissor off and put into Lake Michigan and say, why don't you be your own state? Let's talk about that in the 2 o'clock hour when we return. Don't go away.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-656-1551. That's 800-656-1551. 800-656-1551.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late. We stay informed. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head,
is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
No pain, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
Deep in the red on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. An hour to the close, the Dow now down more than 1,000 points.
Part of this certainly is fundamental. We've been talking a lot about that big, nasty R-word recession out there.
Fox Business's Taylor Riggs.
In days like this, it's selling begets selling and a little bit of a fire sale. So hold your breath and let's see if we can turn things around in the coming days.
And President Trump has stopped short of ruling out a recession as China hits back at Trump tariffs with retaliatory tariffs, even as the Wall Street Journal now reports the U.S. and China are discussing a possible June summit between Presidents Trump and Xi. Canada's most populous province, Ontario, following through on its own plan to charge Americans more for electricity.
Ontario's 25% increase in tariff electricity exports could impact 1.5 million Americans, especially in states like Minnesota, New York, and Michigan, where Ontario provides electricity. It comes as President Trump continues a back and forth with Canada on tariffs. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he won't hesitate to increase the charge if the trade war with the U.S. escalates.
Fox's Ryan Schmelz. President Trump recently postponing tariffs on Canadian imports for 1 month. The California prosecutor who recently rejected a new trial for the Menendez brothers and the 1989 murders of their parents now also says he will not support a resentencing. L.A. County DA Nathan Hochman says the brothers have fallen short of taking full responsibility for their crimes.
To finally, after 30 plus years, fully acknowledge and completely accept responsibility for the entire breadth of the crimes and all the lies that they have told, including their defense at trial of self-defense.
The brothers have claimed sexual abuse by their father, many family members supporting their bid for resentencing. America is listening to Fox News.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
What a wonderful Monday afternoon of weather. Lots of sunshine. What a temperature pop. 73 for the high. That's way above average, but it's well short of a record. The record's 86. Tonight, clear skies, 51. Tuesday, sunny and 71. Wednesday and Thursday, partly sunny, 72 each day. Some thunderstorms late in the week. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Homeowners, selling your St. Louis home is a big deal. And look, I understand selecting the right agent can be a daunting task, but it is crucial. Mark Cox here. There are agents out there who will tell you an unrealistic sales price just to get your business. And that's why I only recommend my friend and trusted agent, Gloria Liu, with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria understands you need assurances when selling your home, not just empty promises. That's why Gloria will guarantee upfront and in writing to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or Gloria will buy it. You might ask, how can she make such a guarantee? Easy. Gloria knows how to market and properly price your home. Plus, she has a database of thousands of exclusive buyers, many of whom are looking for a home just like yours. Take it from me. Call my friend Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how you could build your retirement on your terms. Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour Saturday mornings at 6 here on 97.1 FM Talk.
You can also visit yourmoneymattersstl.com for more details.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com.
Let's support Heroes Care through comedy. Annie Fry here. Join Heroes Care at the Westport Funny Bone Sunday, March 23rd for stand-up from St. Louis's own Will O'Donnell. That's Sunday, March 23rd. Learn more at 971talk.com/events.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
I just refreshed X and it's working for me. Is the cyber attack been defeated?
Oh, I think you speak too soon. Let me see.
Well, you just assume. She's probably wrong.
Because I had that happen a couple times today, and then I went back and it was not. It looked like it was coming back, and then it didn't.
Now, we know not everybody who listens is on X, formerly Twitter, but X has been dealing with a pretty significant cyber attack today. And I'll read to you here from the Fox News report. It's a Fox Business report from a little bit earlier. Tech billionaire Elon Musk said the social media platform he owns is facing a massive cyber attack. I think it's funny that this is how Fox Business writes this article. I'm just reading it to you. Tech billionaire Elon Musk said the social media platform he owns is facing a, quote, massive cyber attack. Quote, there was a massive cyber attack against X. And then it says, Musk, who is heading the Trump administration's Doge, wrote on X. Yeah, we just learned that.
Ah.
It's like one of those articles where, like, this is happening, this is breaking news, we'll report more. But those are the first two paragraphs.
Let me walk you through a labyrinth that ends at its beginning.
Now they need to write it, but like how Yoda would say it, so it's different. he goes on to say, we get attacked every day, but this was done with a lot of resources. Either a large coordinated group or a country is involved. So it does. See, the outages come as another Musk company, Tesla, is facing takedown protests at facilities across the country. Musk has claimed the left-wing billionaire George Soros, billionaire Democratic megadonor, and LinkedIn co-founder Reid Hoffman and others are bankrolling the demonstrations. We know that there are massive funders behind a lot of these protests. And when you're talking about people who are causing destruction, engaging in violence, over the course of the last 5-6 years or so, maybe even more than that there are people who are consistently funding this type of protest. It's funny to me that people are like talking about how there have been requests for people to post photos of celebrities with J.D. Vance's face on them. And they're like, get to the bottom of this. Isn't that funny? Like,
well, it's funny because of the nature of news now. On the same screen, literally, you could have like something that's really deep about, oh my gosh, can you believe they were funding Hamas terrorists through NGOs? And you're like, oh my gosh, it's incredible. And then right below it, oh my gosh, that is the most incredible trick by a cat I've ever seen. That's the nature of the news cycle.
When you're in Chicago for the Lutheran State basketball tournament, 16-team tournament, a very well done event for boys and for girls. It's a really fun thing to participate in. I played in it when I was in grade school, 1998, fourth place finish, lost by 2, Arlington Heights. Gosh, in their own gym. When you're in Chicago and you are dealing with just trying to make sure that you return children that are in your care to their parents in at least as good a shape as you got them at the end of the weekend, you're super mentally laser focused the whole time. Had a great time. Love it. Not a lot of time to dip into the news. I try not to have Fox News on in the hotel rooms while they're there because they don't want to see that stuff. I don't want to talk to them about that. I don't want them to ask me questions about it. I keep just peeking over at social media, and it's all J.D. Vance memes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what's happening? It's funny. It's amusing to me, but what is this? And then I'm looking at people, and I'm like, is that J.D. Vance or is that Leonardo DiCaprio? I can't even tell.
Yeah, they're really good.
They're really good. Are people just saying to Grok, like, make me a meme of J.D. Vance's face on Marcus Aurelius? What are they doing?
I don't know, because the angle that you'd have to find J.D. Vance's face to fit some of those memes, it seems like it would not be able to do it so well, but it's instant. I mean, if that's what's going on.
J.D. Vance is all of us. Why are they doing it? What's the genesis of it?
I'm not sure. It started after the joint address to Congress.
Was it the one where he's standing behind President Trump and he's just got that huge,
they did the big
rock
huge
star
head with
hair?
Yeah.
That one was really funny because it just looked natural. Like, oh, that's what J.D. Vance would look like if he had Robert Plant hair. But then after that, it was like it took on a life of its own, and it went into all these different memes.
I really hope I don't run into a paywall on this, but I am laughing so hard at the Atlantic's article. Wait, who is posting those unflattering J.D. Vance memes? And then it says the online right is trolling one of its own. Is it impossible to get this? This is not trolling of J.D. Vance. It's not unflattering to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance is everywhere right now, and the Atlantic is like, the right has turned on Vice President J.D. Vance.
No, they're cannibalizing their own.
No! At the Atlantic, I'll just read from the article here. Let me give credit to this amazing author, Allie.
Just one name? Like Madonna?
No, I hadn't gotten to the end, but you thought that was great.
Say it right.
Brelin. Oh. Maybe it's Ali. A-L-I. J.D. Vance doesn't look like himself. In recent days, memes have spread across social media in which the vice president's face has been photoshopped to give him cartoonishly chubby cheeks.
Sometimes, not all of them.
He looks like a bearded baby or Humpty Dumpty. Sometimes he's holding a lollipop and wearing a child's baseball cap with a propeller affixed to the top. One meme takes his edited baby face and adds luscious curly locks. Is that the one you're talking about?
Maybe.
While another changes his skin tone to a gentle purple hue, making him look like a Willy Wonka-inspired human blueberry.
I haven't seen that one.
In every image, you want to,
Yeah.
Vance has been reanimated as an utter doofus. This person's got it bad.
No kidding.
I can't go much farther because the paywall is here. The memes first appeared in October when a user on X posted an image of Vance captioned, "For every 100 likes, I will turn JD Vance into a progressively apple-cheeked baby." It's like, even their explanation of the meme world, when they're trying to explain it to you like you're too stupid to understand themselves and you're like, joke's on you, you clearly don't get it. But babyface Vance has gone fully viral since last week when the vice president clashed with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky in the Oval Office. Many of the photos, the most popular of which have received tens of thousands of likes on platforms such as X and Instagram, include captions that imagine Vance talking like a small child who cannot yet properly pronounce his words. Since funny that I screwed that up. Quote, "You have to say please and thank you, Mr. Zelensky." The memes are so good that The Atlantic is writing articles explaining them to people for the people who read The Atlantic and wouldn't understand them.
Yeah, they still sound like they're on the outside of this thing.
Every time JD Vance sees a new one, and you know everybody in his personal life is sending him these memes.
He's got to love them.
He's got to think it's the funniest thing ever.
It's just free, goofy publicity. If anything, it's positive for
It's
him.
humanizing.
Yeah.
Yes, and when he laughs at the joke, and he's going to laugh at the joke, that's the thing. Like, if you did this to Kamala Harris, there would be no laughing at the joke.
No, there would be. It would be her team sat down and advised her, we think the best way for you to go about this would be to laugh at this
like
joke.
That.
And then she'd go, oh, okay. And then she'd go out and go, you know those memes about me that everybody's seeing right now? Well, I am laughing at them.
Yeah. That's all we got, folks. That's
and
the
then
campaign.
She'd wrap it up. Just go back home.
You could have a lot of fun with Vice President Tim Walz with these memes too, though.
Oh, man.
And that would I mean, the end result would be benefiting the same people.
Yeah. JD Vance really does have a memeable face, though.
It's not his face. It's his facial expressions. His face says a lot. And, ever since the vice presidential debate where he looked into the camera, which actually he has said in interviews, the time clock was right above there and he was getting prepared to make his remarks. So he, you don't know when you're actually on the camera that is being broadcast out to people. So he wasn't trying to deliver a viral moment, but he certainly did. His look over that is everywhere where he's kind of got the eyebrow raised and he looks like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? He was checking the time clock to see how long Kamala had left to talk. But ever since
Tim
then,
Walz.
Yes. Yeah. Tim Walz had left to speak. Gosh, he did so bad in that. Not that we need to relitigate the vice presidential debate from the last campaign, but that was so bad.
And yet, it was a high watermark for him. Because while he did poorly, everybody was still like, "Oh, okay, we didn't know you had that in you. Good job."
That reminds me, I'll tell a story real quick before we go to break. We'll talk more about Chicago when we come back. So we went into this tournament with our eyes wide open. The basketball, I didn't Ask Me Anything on the Annie Fry Show Facebook page and got, I don't know, we had like 130 comments on there. And some, like, the first thing was, are you guys going to win? And it was like, so here's the deal. We had like I think at the high point, we had 14 people on our basketball team. We went up with 7, and we were missing, for various reasons, our second, third, and fourth top scorers. And we decided we were still going to go up there. The team still earned it. We were going to compete. We were going to do the best we could. And we were going to have a great time. And we nailed it. We had the best time ever. So we went into this knowing that from a basketball standpoint, this wasn't going to be what you write home about. But we wanted to make the weekend one you'd write home about. So we have a girl on our team. She's got it. She might be 4'10". She might be shorter than that. I don't know how tall she is. She's an 8th grader. Played basketball this year for the first time. She wanted to continue coming to sports after volleyball got over. She wanted to play. She's like, they decided to come, and we were like, yeah, do it. Let's have fun. She's so tiny, but her personality reaches every inch of her being, and she was like, I want to jump. Now, mind you, we were the 16 seed playing the 1 seed in the tournament. We knew how this was going to go. And we're in the locker room. She's like, can I jump? Can I jump? Can I do it? Can I do it? And my husband's the head coach. He looks at her, he's like, you want to jump? And she's like, yes. And he goes, okay. So she jumped against a girl who might have been 6'2".
That's awesome.
I'll show you guys the video. I don't have permission to share it here, but I'll show you guys the video. But so she's super tiny. And she was like, she's like, Annie, you've got to get it on video. You got to make sure you get it. Well, we get done with the announcements, the calling of the roster or whatever, the national anthem, the prayer, and everybody's getting ready to go out, get set up for the jump. And they're walking out, and she runs back. She's like, Annie, are you getting it? Are you rolling? And I'm like, yes. So I get my camera up. And this official who comes to do the jump ball walks, like, he just, you just go through the motions. You walk up, and he sees her, and he stops. And he looks at her, and I mean, the girl that Ayla was jumping against was like, like, you don't want to be rude or whatever. Like, are you serious? But they were all very confused. We were kind of trying to set the tone, and she begged to do it. We didn't. It was her idea, and the official, who probably was 6'3", tall, slender guy, bends over and looks at her and goes, "Well, hello there." Which is the funniest part of the whole thing. And she jumped as high as she could. She didn't get the ball.
I thought, man, that would have ended the story. That would have been.
She jumped 4 feet in the air. No. I mean, honestly, our basketball plan was we didn't have anyone who was going to beat her jump. Our basketball plan was, let's just try to figure out where they're going to tip the ball and try to go get it. And you could win the tip and lose the possession. That was the plan. But that was kind of the basketball sense going in. And then we went downtown and we went to Navy Pier. We ate at Reunion, which is an amazing restaurant by Chef Art Smith at Navy Pier. I was so glad we did that. And we just got to take in the city. So let's talk about that a little bit when we come back. Because being in Chicago, when you're from Illinois and you live in Illinois and you go to Chicago, there's kind of a weird identity crisis that you have. Maybe you've experienced that. Maybe you're from Chicago and you've now moved down south. Maybe you're listening to us in Chicago. Let's talk about it when we come back, because it's one of the leading frustrations that people have as Illinois residents politically is this very complicated relationship we have with this beautiful city to our northeast. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on X at Annie Fry Show.
Civia Law online at civialaw.com. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL is the number to call to get your estate plan in motion. You have thought about this, and I think a lot of people, I mean, you definitely know you have to do this. And you definitely know that if you're looking at your loved one, if you're getting, a little bit later in life, you're thinking about every once in a while it creeps in, what happens if I go first, if they go first. You need to have that conversation. And the great news about it is once you have that conversation and it's put down in writing, you can kind of stop worrying about it. The anxiety of that issue, it's lifted from you. Now, a lot of people also have an estate plan that might be complicated. Maybe you have blended families. Maybe you have children. Some you trust a little bit more than others. Or maybe you don't trust the spouses of your children. Or maybe you don't trust some of even your own grandkids for things that they might inherit. You can navigate those complicated situations with experts at Civia Law. Todd Civia is the go-to for this type of estate planning for elder law needs, and he's a phone call away. 833-995-WILL. 833-995-WILL. Call the number. Tell him Annie sent you online at civialaw.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for Underdog Fantasy, and from fast breaks to buzzer beaters to block parties, there's nothing as exciting as basketball. With Underdog, you can bring that excitement to wherever you watch. Playing on their app is as easy as choosing higher or lower on a player's stats, like threes made, points, rebounds, and more. Get those selections right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. Millions of fans have won billions on Underdog. Will you be next? Join in on the fun by signing up for Underdog today using the promo code MARKR, and you'll get a free selection as part of your first cash entry. plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. It's really easy. It's a lot of fun. You can make basketball picks. You can also create entries with other sports like the NHL, mix and match. You make the call. It's a lot of fun. Do not miss out. But again, when you sign up, don't forget to use the promo code MARKR, M-A-R-K-R. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Gain peace of mind that your flooring and carpet installation will be done right the first time when you hire the experts at Michael's Flooring Outlet. They give all their clients attentive personal service, even bring toys for the kids of the household. It's a family-owned and operated business for 25 plus years. They make sure you make the right choice for your home. So if you have carpets or hard floors, you're going to be happy for years to come. 3 convenient locations in St. Charles County, 116 Main Street, in Old Town St. Peters at Mid-Rivers and Highway 70, in West County on Olive, and the store in Darden Prairie. Michael's Flooring Outlet, IGotFloor.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Prices are going up in 2025 on HVAC equipment. Save now with 2024 pricing on a new system today. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com/new.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever.
She just wants to be beautiful. She goes unnoticed. She knows no limits. She craves attention. She praises an image she prays to be.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Maybe we're made of blind souls. She tries to cover up her pain and cut her woes away. 'Cause cover girls don't cry after the face is made. But there's a hope that's waiting for you in the dark. You should know you're beautiful just the way you are. And you don't have to change a thing. The world could change its heart. No scars, see you're beautiful. With stars and we're beautiful. And you don't have to
When was the last time that you went downtown Chicago, Ryan?
It was a little over a year and a half ago.
What did you go for? Sports?
A wedding.
Downtown?
Well, the wedding wasn't right downtown. It was close, but we had to drive through downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was pretty close to downtown. So, yeah, we were there.
What about you, Brad?
I have never been to downtown.
Really?
Yeah. The closest I've ever come was, I guess, is it the United Center where the Bulls play? I was working security, and I had to deliver some
You were working security for MJ?
No. It was horse racing
There's a
from
lot,
Fairmount Park.
I have a lot of questions.
And they do samples of these horses for steroid testing, and I had to deliver those up there as a security guard. So that was right down blood and urine. And
Nut stool.
You used to deliver.
Yeah, I was in a toolbox that was all like sealed up with dry ice on the inside.
When were you doing this?
Why does that need security? And how has this never come up?
Why does
we
that
not
need
know?
security?
Why does the poop and the blood need security?
It's not poop.
Pee.
Because people don't want their cheater. Like, there's like mafia stuff involved in that.
I know.
What? Why is this happening?
What were you? I don't care about that. What were you? What? You did what? You worked for who?
I was a security guard. And so they're like, all right, you go down to Fairmount Park at this time, you pick up those samples, and you take it up to...
How long did you do this job?
I think I made about 6 trips up there. There was one of the jobs within it, so I think I did for like 2 years. But I think
2 years of your life? We've never heard about this.
Brad's in the CIA.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, Fred's in the FBI, so...
This is all an op.
But, yeah. So that's as
close... No. Not but, yeah.
So, yeah. So you went up to where the Bulls play.
No. I didn't deliver it there. It was in that same neighborhood. There was like a little Illinois racing board.
He was telling us off the air that same basketball situation happened to him.
This is true.
That he had to jump. I think it was for the Bulls.
I do, too. Or it was for a different team playing the Bulls.
It was the 2000 Bulls. Nobody remembers them.
Dikembe Mutombo is huge.
Is he? Well, compared to you.
Massive.
And compared to anybody.
Dramatically larger than I am.
You work security for horse semen.
No, I've never said that. Blood and urine.
My mistake again.
It's anti-doping. We're the trainers doping their horses to make them fast to win at Fairmount
We just
Park.
found out about a new job that Brad has never, ever mentioned before in the history of his time on this show, and it had the word mafia in the explanation.
Mafia and playing against Michael Jordan that we inferred. And and you had to drive the
He's like, I've
specimens.
never been to downtown Chicago ever. I wasn't there, I promise.
Yeah. But let me tell you about the time that I was and why.
Was the United Center close to downtown? Because it was like midnight every time.
You're asking people not from Chicago.
Of course it was the dead of night.
So wait. So you showed up with these blood and urine specimens from horses at Fairmount Park?
Yes.
After midnight in downtown Chicago?
Yeah, I left. Yeah, what time? I'd leave here around 7.
Sounds like some
whatever
crap
it would
you'd
take me
make
to
up,
get
Ryan.
there.
Is it like, does it have to be tested within a certain period of time? Like, the urine's going to get cold. Go, go, go.
Yeah, he has to deliver it warm.
Like, why'd you have to go right then?
Because that's when that's the law. So the horses win on Saturday, and then you've got to take it up there before the end of the weekend so that the testers at the Illinois Racing Board can have those in starting Monday.
He definitely knows a lot about it. I believe him.
I believe him too, but this is the kind of thing that Brad could research and make up. I'm not saying he is. Or
I don't think he did.
He would,
no,
but he could.
This is the type of stuff that you'd make up, but you wouldn't
It's
research.
about 2 truths and a lie.
He's got a poker face for that game.
He's never been to downtown Chicago. That's surprising.
Yeah. I went there and I saw a Chicago White Sox game, but that's not in downtown either. So
he's technically right.
I don't know the lay of the land. I've been to Wrigley.
What's the name of the park? Kaminsky?
Not
it
anymore.
used to be.
No, City, no. Comcast.
No. I you know what? I asked one of the other hosts here the other day, and he told me, and I've forgotten since. And I always called it U.S. Cellular, but it's not that
went
anymore.
downtown to the. We first went to Navy Pier because I'd never been to Navy Pier before. Obviously, Brad hasn't been to Navy Pier.
Mm-mm.
Have you, Ryan?
It's been a long time, but I have. My wife's from Chicago, so.
I didn't realize that it was an indoor mall. A nice indoor mall.
I don't know that I could have told you that.
I had no idea. I thought that when you went to Navy Pier that there was like a Ferris wheel type of a thing, and then it was just outdoors, Michigan Avenue, or not Michigan Avenue, Lake Michigan,
flea market
seagulls,
kinda.
maybe some hot dog carts and
Yeah.
stuff like that. No. Parking was $41.
Oh my god!
I believe that.
And this is the number one thing that I left Chicago not realizing. They have fees and taxes on everything listed as fees and taxes. So if parking it'll say parking is $35, but separately there will be $6 of fees and taxes. So parking is $41. Just say just charge $41 for parking and then take care of your business afterwards. There was a when you rode the Ferris wheel, it was $18, but I think there was like a $2 or $3 taxes and fees. On everything where you would go, there were certain kinds of taxes and fees. And I know that this isn't this may sound silly for Chicago people to hear non-Chicago people talking about that, but that's not what everything is expensive to begin with. And then on top of that, there are taxes and fees everywhere. And I'm thinking to myself, aren't you people tired of all the taxes and fees? Like that to me would be a political play to get people to lower taxes and fees. But if you go into Chicago, the pricing is outrageous for everything was super expensive. Being with these girls and watching them, even if you're going to McDonald's and you're paying $12 for a value meal for a middle school girl, that should be $5 or $6. You should be able to eat at McDonald's for $5 or $6, but that's not the world we live in anymore. Everything was super expensive, but I was also taken aback by how beautiful the city is. And I've been there before, and I usually have that experience. Just like, wow, the city is magnificent. But it's very bothersome how beautiful it is and how much it has to offer and to know what is being done to the city.
Right there is very beautiful.
Yeah.
If you drive that strip, Lakeshore Drive, and it's a nice day.
Yeah, we did. And it was Saturday morning up there, and it was crystal clear.
Did you say it was snowy?
That was Friday.
Okay.
We were intending we played at 10:30 a.m. on Friday, which was a bum. Because how do you get off? Like, we had like 6, 7 people in our stands, like the smallest crowd ever. But it's 10:30 on a Friday morning. That's a big ask for people. So we went up there. We basically threw everybody in as few cars as we possibly could. Some other parents drove up, left home at like 3:34 in the morning to get there on time. It was such a tiny group, but we were going to go Friday, and then it was snowy and 34 degrees and bleh. And then the next day was going to be beautiful. So we punted to Saturday, and it was just
It's amazing.
so pretty.
And you can see why the skyscrapers and the real estate, and it's so expensive right there, because you naturally would want to be right there because it's just so nice. But that's the reason.
Yeah, and it's unaffordable for normal people to, if you're going to Navy Pier for the first time and you're taking in that experience, which we were, you just kind of do it. But it's so expensive that I don't think that the average middle-class person could afford to go down there and pay those types of prices with regularity. Why are we so quick to... is it hopeless? That's really what it comes down to, because I don't want to believe that it's hopeless. I want Chicago to be the best Midwestern city in the country. I want it to be the best place to do business. Look at what Nashville is doing. I'm so envious of Nashville. Now, Nashville has its own thing. The music scene, the entertainment scene, that makes sense. But Chicago could be like that. If they wanted to be like that, Chicago could do that. The rest of the state is red. Cook County is not. If a Republican wins, I think it's like 22% of Cook County, they'll win the election.
Wow. That's not that far away.
So when you think about what would need to be done in Chicago, it would have to be a miracle. But look at what Donald Trump is doing at the federal level. If you see the type of transformation that he is bringing to the federal government with things that I think a lot of people, maybe my parents' generation, who've been watching government expand and bloat for so long, if not their entire lives, it's just kind of jaw-dropping to watch the willingness of Donald Trump to come in like the wrecking ball that we need to say, we're redoing this whole thing. We're going to break it down. It's going to be a mess, and we're going to rebuild it into something that is better than it's ever been. And, I say this as we watch the markets suffer under some of the things that Donald Trump's, his economic plans, which he said openly. There's going to be some short-term pains. But he said, was it on Air Force One? He's like, we're gonna be so rich, we're gonna be so wealthy when we see this through. He has to do this stuff immediately so that there's enough time for the benefits to set in. And I hope that we would see them quicker than anything. But if it can happen at the federal government, if a man like Donald Trump, okay, Annie, I get it, but how are you gonna get a Donald Trump into the state of Illinois to do that? I don't know. But who saw Donald Trump coming? I think we have a special moment in time for blue areas. It doesn't even have to be states. I mean, look at the city of St. Louis. It's really the same sort of gross mismanagement that takes place where you feel like you have an unlimited amount of funds from the taxpayers, and you feel this is the mood I get from these Democrats like Mayor Brandon Johnson. The people who run the city of St. Louis, I certainly feel the same way there. But they just think if the taxpayer dollar exists, there's always another one to take. And they're willing to, there's no shame in taking the money from the taxpayers. They believe they're entitled to it. They believe they deserve it. And if there is anything that the Donald Trump administration is doing right now, they are completely recalibrating the system as to who deserves the taxpayer dollar. That's what America First is. That's what Make America Great Again is based on. The idea that you control what happens in this country as a member of we the people, not we the government. Putting government back in its place, saying it's too big, it's too bloated. It's got to be cut. And I understand that there are going to be people shrieking and hollering about, having to endure some of these cuts. I get that, but you can lose a lot of the fat that is there before real people are even starting to feel the type of cuts that will hit us on a really granular home-based type of level. And I just think that now is the time when I'm in the city of Chicago, I want that to be my city. I want to live in Illinois and come to work in St. Louis and be in a position to be like, look what Chicago is doing, St. Louis, get your act together. I want to live in Illinois and look at St. Louis, Missouri, and take East St. Louis, Illinois, and build it up and make it beautiful so that St. Louis, Missouri, the west side of the river, is the side that needs the work. That the east side of the river is the place of opportunity where people want to come and people want to build and people want to invest and grow and create. And you can do that on the east side of the river with the right mentality. And guess what, folks in the west side, St. Louis, Missouri, if Illinois got their act together on the east side, the west side would have to do the same thing. The west side would have to think about providing safety and security for patrons, for customers, for businesses, for business owners, for people who want to live in one of these many open apartment buildings that you could, enjoy the arts, the food, the experience, the entertainment, the walkability, the sustainability of being able to be right next to your work in a big city. We have the opportunity to do that here in St. Louis, and Democrats are ruining it top to bottom. And I feel like, it seems like St. Louis City is hopeless. It may feel to some people like, the east side of the river, that it's hopeless, that Chicago is hopeless. But I really feel like we are not too far removed from looking at the federal government and thinking that is hopeless. And it really looks like the American people chose to put Donald Trump in the Oval Office because they saw a glimmer of hope from what Donald Trump said he wanted to do. And what he said he wanted to do was transformative. It's not like, let's do Republican things. Okay, we'll try that this time again. That's not what it is. It was actually offensive to some Republicans who were like, I don't know, the bureaucracy functions best for us under this way of doing government. Donald Trump wanted to take a wrecking ball to the swamp, a wrecking ball to the status quo, the way we do things. This is not how things go in Washington, D.C. He said they're not going to go that way anymore because there's a new sheriff in town. It seems hopeless and seems like a pipe dream, but how much greater would the state of Illinois be if Chicago, 22%, if 22% of Chicago believed in who we ran as Republicans for governor? If a mayor would come into that city and give some sort of sense of security, safety, economic growth that would benefit the whole city, that would offer some of the principles that people have, decided to step over at least 1 foot over into the right side of the aisle to say, okay, let's give this a try. What if that happened? And I say what if in a time where I feel like it's the biggest possibility that maybe something like that could happen here. Illinois is going to go into 2026 as a statewide election year. We're going to elect a governor in 2026. J.B. Pritzker is completing a second term. We do not have term limits. J.B. Pritzker is going to be sticking his finger into the wind because he wants to be president of the United States, and I have no confidence that he's going to say, I'm not going to run for governor because I want to run for president. I think he could try to win the governorship back for his third term in his sleep. He has that much money. But if you look at what he has to show for it, I don't think that Illinois, the Illinois Policy Institute just came out. Illinois has the highest tax burden in the country. Taxpayers and voters understand that. Chicago is unsafe. It's expensive. But the whole state is still worth it. It's still my home. And I know that there's still a lot of people in Illinois who want to see it made great. And I just think, goodness gracious, if Donald Trump can be successful in the next 12 months, it could have great benefit for the people of Illinois, for the people of the city of St. Louis, for New Jersey, for California. I mean, those California congressional seats are a great opportunity for Republicans to gain a majority. There's so many of them, and California is pretty sick and tired of the way California is being run, and Illinois is no different. You need to go to Chicago, Brad, without the mafia.
I'm planning on going in June.
Oh, there you go.
And without the horse blood.
I mean, that's his business.
Might take some. I don't know. Just for old time's sake.
Did you actually have to extract it?
No, I just picked it up and
Man,
delivered
that would
it.
have taken this story to a whole different level. Why is Brad chasing the horses again? Don't worry about it.
And what's
Why
he
has he
doing?
got a knife?
Don't ask questions.
And what's he doing underneath that horse? Oh, that's the pee part.
Ew. Quick break. When we come back, let's discuss and report on the YouTube live chat poll. Should the GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution to fund government through September? You going to support Trump's CR if Trump wants it? We haven't been supporting CRs. We haven't been very kind to that in the past. Does the tone change when Donald Trump says, I need a little bit more time? Yes or no? Annie Fry YouTube channel. We'll be right back.
I can go a little while longer. She fades away. She don't see.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So to all the girls that's hurting, let me be your mirror. Help you see a little bit clearer. The light that shines within. There's a hope that's waiting for you.
STS-armory.com if you're shopping for firearms, ammunition, safety and security devices for your home, accessories, all of the different things that come along with being a responsible firearm owner and operator. You could go to STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. They are your advocates. They are the people who can help you get the things you're looking for. They know the Illinois Second Amendment laws inside and out, and they will help you find the things that you're looking for. There's another service that they offer at STS Armory, and I can't speak highly enough of this as a customer myself of theirs, but also a student of theirs. The courses that they provide, that they educate you in, they're just wonderful instructors. They are very, very in tune with the up-to-the-minute laws that are taking place, how to make sure that you are a confident and responsible gun owner and operator. You go to STS Armory or online at sts-armory.com. Sign up for one of their classes. They have the conceal and carry classes that you might need. They have basic pistol courses. They have classes for ladies only, pepper spray classes. They even have kids/teens firearm safety and education classes. Learn all about it at STS Armory in Pontoon Beach, sts-armory.com.
If you're the victim of a car accident or suffered a work injury in St. Louis, you want attorneys who live here and work here to handle your case. You want someone who knows St. Louis and is about St. Louis. You want Kaufman Townsley. Call 314-500-5000.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Fry, and Mark Reardon, along with Bob and Tammy Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Here are Bob and Tammy with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and worried about market volatility and losses at this stage in your life? Would you like to learn why linking to the market is much safer than owning the market?
Would you like to learn how to automatically lock in your market gains every year without having to sell? Did you also know if you are 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from any future losses? You'll get all the answers and more. If you are 59 and a half or older, you can't afford to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, Tuesday, March 25th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, should the GOP or should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution, CR, to fund the government through September, yes or no? We are about to find out the results of this poll in just a few minutes at the end of the hour here. If you haven't voted yet, you still can, though. Yes or no on the YouTube live chat poll today. It is 2:47. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Good afternoon. It's Mark Reardon. We've got a Twitter outage to report back on, and my dear friend Uncle Ted Nugent's going to join us to kick off the week at 3:25. It all starts at 3 after Fox News. Hang in there.
Yeah. You are my fire, the one.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
When I say I want it that way, but we.
You see what is that? The Sphere in Vegas? Is that the thing? Is that what it's called? The Sphere?
The Sphere in Vegas. Yes. I thought you said the Fear in Vegas.
What are they afraid of?
Well.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Have you seen it? Have you been there?
I've never been to Vegas.
Do you know anyone who? Okay, I haven't either. Do you know anyone who's been to the Sphere?
My friend goes to Vegas a lot. He hasn't specifically mentioned it.
I've heard it's wild and very cool.
Yeah, I have too.
There are two things taking place at the Sphere that I'm interested in, and one of them is Backstreet Boys.
Wait, it's a concert at the Sphere?
Yeah.
in it, or
That's what
They do that a
tons
lot.
of those.
is it a concert venue inside it? Okay, I didn't even
But
know
it's
what it was.
it's like going to the, is it the
an
Omnimax
Omnimax?
type of a thing, but like on a whole different scale.
That's got to be great.
It's the same on the inside as it is on the outside as far as
And when you go and like people create an event specifically
for that.
because the venue is so unique. I if the Backstreet Boys came to St. Louis, I would not go see them.
What if it was in a sphere here?
The Omnimax.
You want me to build a sphere so we could like do
If it's
all the
small
extra
enough
Vegas
that I
shows?
can hang out with the Backstreet Boys and like talk to them, I would love to do that. I would love to talk to them.
Yeah, it wouldn't be huge. It'd be probably the size of like my house.
This room. The other one is John Mayer. I'm a huge John Mayer fan, but he's playing the Grateful Dead, and I don't know if I want to be in the sphere with a bunch of deadheads. It's so weird. I like John Mayer as an individual artist and his Deadhead following. Like those people love him for the most part. They love him because he's been able to continue something for them that wouldn't be able to continue. I mean, if you're going to continue, it has to be with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And he apparently is.
He's the next generation?
I mean, he's been touring with them for years and years and years.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yes.
The thing about the Deadhead tour, it always seemed interesting to me. I mean, I would never be a part of that, but it always seemed interesting to be a part of that community because I'm like, how do they live? What's that life like?
It's just not ours.
No, yeah.
No, you're definitely observing something.
Yeah, and I've always been fascinated by subculture stuff like that. I actually kind of I like to dip my toe and see what it's like and then dip back out because it's not mine.
I think the Deadheads would probably feel the same thing about the Backstreet Boys fans.
Or conservative talk radio.
Because the Backstreet Boys fans at the Sphere, like that is going to be filled with 40-year-old women. And their reluctant daughters that they may have dragged along. But mostly, girl trip! I reached out to one of my lifelong best friends, and I just sent her the screenshot of that with the, like, 2 eyeballs that are looking to the side. And she told me she already has her tickets. She's already going. And I think she's going with her sister or something.
Does it seat a lot of people, or is it kind of...
It's huge. Huh. You need to get on
Yeah,
YouTube
just
and
look at
find some...
pictures.
Not right now. We have to finish the show.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
after
kinda
the show. I'm kind of thinking about going for it, but it's not like... There's no way Jared's going with me with that.
Yeah.
And you gotta... If you're going to go watch the Backstreet Boys... And listen, I'm 40. That's my youth right there. Everybody has that kind of throwback, whatever, boy bands and everything. I would not travel to see NSYNC. Not interested at all. Backstreet Boys, A1, top notch. Would go to Vegas to see them. They're selling packages that make it like super simple, which of course they do these things. Airfare, hotel, travel to, travel from.
Here's what's weird. I was just thinking about NSYNC and Backstreet Boys this morning.
Nobody says NSYNC.
In? Okay.
Because they're in sync.
Well, I don't care.
That's fair. Exactly. Not a lot of Ryan Wiggins is in the Sphere at the Backstreet Boys concert.
I was just thinking about them this morning for I don't know what reason. But I was thinking, man, Backstreet Boys, they're out there. They're doing tours, they're doing shows. NSYNC is not.
They can't.
Because of Justin Timberlake, right?
Yeah.
Because he won't join them.
NSYNC will go tour and do things, but it's without Justin Timberlake.
Oh,
so
they do.
Yeah.
But so they call themselves NSYNC?
I mean, on various occasions, I know Joey Fatone has done sets at festivals at Epcot at Disney, and he's a huge and he'll be accompanied by Lance Bass or the other ones. I'm sorry, I don't know their names.
AJ? No, he's a Backstreet Boy.
Yeah.
He's the only one I met.
Stop confusing them. I don't know. I just the Sphere thing sounds very interesting to me, and those are. If it were just John Mayer and he was doing his John Mayer stuff, I would drop everything and go to that. I just don't think that I need to show up to the Deadhead concert and be like, "Hi guys."
I think you.
What are you doing?
You might enjoy yourself more than you think.
I don't know in the Sphere. I don't know what kind of rules they have.
I wonder if it's still because you've seen John Mayer, so you know a little bit more
I've
about
probably
this.
seen him almost 10 times.
Is it still the Deadhead crowd? Is it still the old VW hippie buses and stuff like that, or has it evolved?
I've never been, but I've watched things that he has done because I wanted to see, like, how does this work?
Yeah.
How does this function? And it's exactly what it is. John Mayer sheds his John Mayer individual thing and fits perfectly into the Deadhead thing. He is theirs. They are not his. He is continuing the legacy of Jerry Garcia, of the Grateful Dead, of that whole thing. And I probably know the lyrics to every single John Mayer song that has ever been put out there. And it's like he's a different person when he's with the Grateful Dead. It wouldn't. The last time he was in St. Louis, he was at whatever you call where the Blues play at the time. Enterprise. I don't even know if it was Enterprise. Maybe when he was there, and he did one Grateful Dead song that was like 17 minutes.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, can we get the abridged version? We are not those people.
Does he turn into a jam band? Is that how that works?
I guess.
Huh.
I mean, it was really talented. It was what you would refer to as a vibe.
The other random thought I had this morning about NSYNC was that
In sync, not N sync.
Bye.
It's in sync as in IN, but you're saying it like it's just the letter.
Yeah, N.
N sync.
NSYNC.
No.
That's the way it's spelled. I'm sorry.
He says N-sync.
I'd rather him say that.
I'm sorry, but Bye is not their best song. It's pop.
Dirty pop.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good one. Gets overlooked a lot.
Probably not.
Especially when he stops and he goes, I'm tired of singing. And then they just dance.
Sick and tired of hearing all. Okay, should GOP legislators back Trump's request for a continuing resolution, Ryan?
No. I'm with Thomas Massey. I'd be among the extreme minority.
Why?
Because I think there needs to be, like, do the CR, but do a shorter one like they were saying Susan Collins would do. If you need
Ryan
a little more
Schmelz
time.
was reporting at 125 with us that they suggested a month-long one as opposed to September.
I might be on board with that, not through September.
Brad?
I'm going to say yes. I think that they should. I think that you are doing some very incredible things here, and then a government shutdown would not be good if it fell upon the Republicans' heads. So I think that you got to take the short win here and regroup and come back to get another swipe at the apple.
I think that Ryan Schmelz, when he was talking about that, I think that's a really smart thing to say, we'll do it, but we'll do a shorter version of it. And that might very well be how this gets the votes, because normally you would punt it to September. In order to, I don't know if you can do it in the middle of the summer. I would assume that there are times where the congressmen and women are not there. And so if you do it, you have to do it around when they're in session, or you make them come back and be in session. That makes things complicated. Trump says, let's do the CR through September and give us the right amount of time to do it right. We asked you that question, and 84% of you say yes, that the GOP legislators should back Trump's request, which actually surprises me. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but 84% of you say if that's what Trump wants, that's what Trump should get. I don't disagree with it, but I would like a modified version of it, like Ryan said as well. We will continue to follow it. They should be voting on it by tomorrow sometime. The Mark Reardon Show takes over from here.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Tony La Russa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
To battle is to fight, to struggle, to overcome, and ultimately for the Marine Corps, it means to win. There is no alternative. It's not just a statement of intent. It's a promise to our nation. A promise kept for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. the brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
Could you make $500,000 in retirement savings feel like $1 million? Or $1 million feel like $2 million? The key is having a comprehensive financial plan for taxes, Social Security, inflation, healthcare, income, and more. Discover how you could make money go a lot further in retirement in a 3-hour adult education class, Retirement Planning 101. Guys, it's Dave Glover from KMOX. This one-night class is taught by a fiduciary advisor from Financial and Tax Architects with decades of financial planning experience. They're held at colleges and libraries throughout St. Louis. There's no cost. Just bring 3 canned goods for the St. Louis Crisis Nursery. If you've saved $300,000 or more for retirement, register by calling 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110. If, like me, you haven't quite had the pedal to the metal the way you should, or if you've had the pedal to the metal the entire time, either way, give us a call. We can help you out. We'll take you wherever you are. 314-350-8110. 314-350-8110 for Financial and Tax Architects.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-500-5000.
That's 314-500-5000.
All on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. A new plunge on Wall Street. I'm Lisa Brady. The Dow down nearly 900 points at the bell, falling under 42,000 as tariffs and retaliatory tariffs fuel recession worries. The Dow had been down more than 1,100 points. The Nasdaq also finishing off its session lows, dropping more than 700. A man accused of helping to plan the Abbey Gate suicide bombing that killed 13 U.S. service members and more than 100 civilians during the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan remains in custody after appearing in federal court today. Mohammed Sharifullah was arrested and brought to the U.S. last week, charged with conspiring to help ISIS-K.
According to authorities, Sharifullah waived his Miranda rights and spilled the story admitting to helping prepare for the attack as far as helping to look for spots, checkpoints, American and Taliban checkpoints. Authorities say he did some sort of reconnaissance work and told other ISIS-K members the route was clear.
To listen to the book. I really put a lot of my heart and time into it because of what we're facing as a country right now, and the hopes and really the.
I'm so excited to have our next guest join the Annie Frey Show here. We're speaking with New York Times bestselling author Tulsi Gabbard, a 4-term congresswoman and combat veteran currently serving as lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve. And we're going to talk about her first book, For Love of Country, which is topping the bestseller charts, available now. And Congresswoman, so great to have you. You and I spent some time together. I listened to the audio version of the book, and I was so pleased to get to know so much more about you. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much, Annie. It's great to join you. And thank you for taking the time to read and to listen to the book. I really put a lot of my heart and time into it because of what we're facing as a country right now, and the hopes and really the knowledge that there are a lot of other Americans who have their own path that's very similar to mine, former Democrats, maybe even current Democrats, people who are politically homeless, and yet who are in a place, unfortunately, where they're too afraid to stand up and speak the truth.
Yeah, I think that going into this book, I was so intrigued at the opportunity to take you in your own words, because I think you're one of the most interesting enigmas that have come out of Washington, D.C. I know that's how we kind of got to know you, is you coming out of Washington, D.C. I'm sure people who go there don't want to be defined by that. But to understand, your book is about leaving the Democratic Party, but that doesn't automatically turn you into Republican. And so people are kind of wondering, like, who are you if you don't fit in this two-party system? What do you stand for? And you lay this out beautifully about the things you care about most. And the thing that I learned the most about you is your long legacy that you've had serving both your country in the military, in political service, and even, in Hawaii, the land that you love there. I think that service is at the key of this. And we do not live in a culture right now that emphasizes serving.
Yeah, Annie, I'm smiling right now because I have been called a quote unquote political enigma for as long as I've been involved with politics.
That's a compliment.
And it is a compliment. It's a reflection of who I am, which is I'm an independent minded person. And my love and my loyalty and my commitment and dedication is to our country and to the American people, not one party or another party. Obviously, there are practical implications of political parties in our system, and I'm very cognizant of that. But for anybody to be simply judged by or forced to fit into a specific box or a specific label, it's just not real. It's not how we are as humans. There are some things I agree with and some things I disagree with, and that's one of the things that I talk about in my book. Was what attracted me originally to the Democratic Party was that it seemed to be a big open tent party that welcomed people who had different ideas and different experiences to actually come and talk through how do we solve the great challenges of our day, and know that even if we're not starting out on the same page, if we share the same objective, we can get to that best solution through an open dialogue and discussion, through exercising our right to free speech and freedom of expression. And of course, now fast forward 20 plus years, that doesn't exist in today's Democratic Party. Yeah. It's one of the most disturbing things because of our fundamental right to free speech and how the Democratic Party has become so undemocratic and so unwelcoming, or completely rejecting people who don't conform to whatever their specific narrative or agenda is of the day. You look at the Republican Party now, and I have a lot of friends in the Republican Party, people I worked with throughout my 8 years in Congress. And, some people, if you watch the mainstream cable news, they're like, oh gosh, what's wrong with these people? And even some Republicans ask me, like, how are Democrats so disciplined? They all do whatever their boss says to do. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a political party that is welcoming of people with very different ideas and views on how to solve these problems. And that's what we should encourage more of in the country, regardless of what party you belong to.
I agree wholeheartedly. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard with us right now. I want to pull out one little anecdote that really just hit the juxtaposition kind of to what you're saying right there about, a representative goes to Congress, you go to Capitol Hill because you are representing constituents. Now, those constituents for you are in Hawaii. You tell a story here about, and you've been very peace forward, I'll put it that way. You've talked about nuclear war quite a lot as a very serious issue. And there was a time during the Obama administration where there was going to be some action in Syria. And you talked a little bit in your book about a woman you met at a gas station. And then you followed that up with a phone call you got from the chief of staff, from the first lady. And I had to ask myself, I had to pause and say, man, once you get there, once you get inside the Beltway, who are you representing? Is it the constituent or the party? And I was going to ask you if you could maybe share a little bit about those two individuals who you spoke to about that. It's really powerful.
Yeah, thanks, Annie. And this directly connects to what we just talked about the difference between blind party loyalty and allegiance, putting party ahead of what's best for the country rather than the other way around, actually putting what's best for the country first and foremost, which is why I titled the book that I did. It is for love of country that I am who I am and that I do what I do. When I was first elected to Congress and sworn in as a new member of Congress, in a very unexpected way to me, there was a lot of noise and positive coverage and soft news stories about me as I was coming as a new member of Congress, a lot of excitement in the Democratic Party, people saying she's the rising star, she's the future, all of these things. They didn't really know who I was. They had read the top lines about me or my bio, But very quickly, within those first few months of my being in office, they recognized I was not going to allow myself to be a puppet for them and their interests, and that the reason why I ran, the priorities that I came and brought with me to Congress was to serve our country and to honor my brothers and sisters who I served with overseas in the Middle East, who never made that trip home, who made that ultimate sacrifice. And so the story you're talking about actually happened about 6 or 7 months after I had been in Congress. President Obama came to Congress seeking authorization to start a new regime change war in the Middle East, this time in Syria. And after I looked at this woman, heard about it in the news, and she stopped me as I was pumping gas in Kapolei on the island of Oahu. And I didn't know who she was, but she grabbed my arm and with tears welling up in her eyes, just shared how she had been so concerned about her son who had been deployed. He had finally come home, and she was terrified about the difficulty in transition that he was having of going from being at war for so long and now coming home, only to have this threat popping up in the news that he may be forced to go back yet again. And her fear was that I may lose him forever. I just got him back. They want to take him away again, and for what? And so I've never forgotten that exchange I had with her. I had others similar to that with many people after that. But after going and doing the analysis of what the president was asking of Congress, I came to the conclusion that this is not in the best interest of the American people or our country. There's no clear objective. There's no exit plan. And we would end up likely in yet another decades-long boondoggle like we've seen happen too often in the Middle East. I said that publicly, was the first Democrat to come out against President Obama's request, and immediately got a call from the White House saying, how dare you, not based on substantive differences. The message was, how dare you go against your team? How dare you go against your president without care for, well, Tulsi, you've been deployed twice in the Middle East. Maybe you have some experience about your concerns. And so this, again, is further evidence of the problem of what happens with politicians who put party before country.
It was very frustrating for me to hear that, but I think it's realistic to think about the party pressure that gets put on people once they go to represent. But it's not just intra-party that pressure hits. I mean, we've seen, you talk in your book also about the Google suppression. You had this great peak of interest after your debate. And that was immediately like, oh, that's problematic. We got to stop that. Google participated in squashing that. And now we know in 2024 how much more big tech has participated in shaping the narrative. And, with everything that you've learned, Tulsi, with the really great force to keep you at bay in the Democrat Party so much that you said, peace out, that I wonder how much of the whole narrative has been shaped for us and how many Americans are kind of waking up going, everything that I've been told for so long, it just doesn't feel right. They got a gut feeling. The Biden administration is not really making the case very strongly for the Democrat Party. Like, where do you think the mental space is right now for the average, not super politically involved American voter?
Yeah, first, just real quick, you mentioned Google, you mentioned big tech, a lot of the evidence that has actually come to light in the years after my own personal experience of Google intervening on behalf of the Democratic National Party. People ask me, in my book, I talk a lot about the Democrat elite. They say, who are the Democrat elite? Well, those are two examples. It is not only the elected figureheads of the party that we know of, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, but it is their partners in the mainstream media. It is big tech and social media moguls. It is those who are willing to do their bidding. It is their multi-billion-dollar funders like George Soros. These are the people pulling the strings. These are the people making decisions. I think because of the consequences of these insane policies, like trying to tell us a boy can be a girl anytime he says, I am a girl, forcing girls into a position where Title IX is totally destroyed, and any possibility of a true, fair, and equal level playing field for women and girls in sports is gone out the window under this administration. You look at things like defund the police, their open border policies, and how they're affecting communities and cities all across the country. I think as these things continue to escalate, more and more Americans do have that gut feeling that I don't pay attention to politics, but what's happening is not good. My paycheck is going shorter and shorter. I can't afford to buy the things that I used to be able to afford. These things are becoming harder and harder for people to deny. I'm encouraging them to recognize the cause of people's problems through this book, and therefore then recognize, okay, what do I as an American need to do about this? Because we all have to own our responsibility to save our country, to defend our freedom.
Congressman Tulsi Gabbard with us right now. We're speaking about her latest book, For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. I encourage you to get it. I've read it myself, and I highly recommend it to get a full understanding in Tulsi's own words, who she is and why she's not a Democrat anymore and where she is right now. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your presidential aspirations that have existed, and you really did, even in the midst of all of the opposition, get the attention of the American people. I'm curious if you still have those presidential aspirations, if they're near to your heart right now, or how you feel about a potential run once again.
You know, the thought has never entered my mind that I am, I've chosen a quote unquote political career. I've never seen it that way. And so I've never aspired, oh, well, one day I will be president for the sake of being president. I have no interest in that. My run for the presidency in 2020, and if I were to run again, would be rooted in a recognition that that there is not someone else already stepping up to the plate who I feel confident in, is committed to our Constitution, committed to putting the American people first, who is not beholden to the military-industrial complex, and who takes seriously my brothers and sisters in uniform and the choice that we've made to lay down our lives for our country and understand the cost that comes with that decision between war and peace. If that person is there, then I wouldn't need to run for president. Whether I run again or not, I don't know. My goal is to serve our country and to uphold the oath that I took to the Constitution.
If I may, just one final question. We're speaking with Tulsi Gabbard about her latest book. When people like you feel as though, maybe I didn't leave the Democrat Party, the Democrat Party left me, somewhere in there where positions haven't totally changed, but you just don't recognize the party that you used to support. People are compelled right now to think it's the Democrat Party and Trump. And the idea of leaving the Democrat Party and directly supporting Trump seems like a jolt for a lot of people. You've experienced time with Donald Trump as an individual, as a man, as somebody who has run this country. What advice do you give to those people who feel like this Democrat Party isn't for me anymore, knowing that Donald Trump is the consequence of less support for the Democrat Party?
I just encourage people to set whatever, feelings or emotions that they may have around certain individuals aside and actually focus on the consequences of policies. This is a unique time in our country where we have two people running against each other, both asking to be our president and both who have served as president. They actually have a record that we can look to. We don't just have to buy what they're saying and hope they mean what they say. There's an actual record and comparison to know what kind of president they would be and the results of their policies. And so whether we're talking about border security, the economy, the inflation that we are continuing to experience now for years, we look at foreign policy and domestic policy. We look at the security of our country and our ability to live in safe and peaceful communities. You may not be hope inspired. You may not have your ideal dream candidate. This is the real world that we live in. And the choice that we have before us, in my view, is very clear, and the differences are stark. Yeah. People will make their decisions on election day, but I just encourage people to make sure that those are informed decisions and think about what is in the best interest of you and your kids, your family, and our ability to live in a truly free, safe, and peaceful society.
Yeah, but we have such a clear choice in front of us, and this current way of doing things is not sustainable. Tulsi Gabbard, the book is For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. I encourage people to check out the audiobook because you have a wonderful voice to listen to, keep you company for a while. Thank you so much for the time today. It's been an honor to have you.
Great to talk to you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You as well. We've been speaking with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, a New York Times best-selling author, 4-term Congresswoman, and Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army Reserve. And her book is For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind.